I'm tired.
I mean, I got 7 hours, damn near.
Does your machine, like mine, tell you how long you slept when you're done
Yep.
for the night?
Yep.
So I was a little worried because I must have stepped on my mask.
Okay.
I broke a piece of plastic off and it wouldn't seal. So I had no backup. So I called the place and I finally get in and, order all the crap. But then they're like, well, we got to call your doctor. And I'm like, if they're going to make me go see the doctor to pay $180 so I can get a new mask, I'm going to be hot.
Right.
But fortunately, so I went like 4 days without it.
I bet your wife loved that.
She said it was, well, she wears earplugs.
Gotcha.
So unless I'm drinking, gotcha. I don't snore that badly.
Usually with me, it's if I'm on my side, I'm not bad. If I'm flat on my back, I'm a chainsaw.
Yeah, I can't sleep on my back. I snore that way too. She would elbow me.
Okay, David, the last thing that he says in part 2 is he's talking about how he wouldn't trade his spot for anything as far as like what holes he's calling. So the part 3 picks up with you asking a question about in those big moments what's going on in your head. Yeah.
Verne did not know for over 20 years that he repeated what Ben Wright had said a half hour earlier. He genuinely did not know. I was there when people told him, and he's like, "What are you talking about?" They're like, "Yeah, Ben Wright, when Jack eagled the 15, says yes, sir." Verne's like, "What?" Yeah. And so sure enough, Verne goes back and and then he's like, "Huh, must have been in the back of my mind." And I laughed because I said, you saying it again as he takes the lead, actually now it seems perfect. It's kind of like, Ben Wright said, yes, sir, when the charge was on, and you said, yes, sir, when he gets to the top of the board. And also, sir, because it's Jack.
Right.
Everybody else is a player. Nobody else of legendary guys on that leaderboard down the stretch. He's the only one that gets sir.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
It really was. I will say, he had a lot. He was in the right place at the right time for some huge moments.
Yeah, he has. Do you remember who David helped me? Jackie, who dropped the pass?
Jackie Smith.
He had the radio call Jackie Smith Super Bowl.
Super Bowl 13.
The drop pass by the Cowboy Jackie
Steelers.
Smith, you recall? I mean,
I haven't heard of that.
Okay, Steelers, Cowboys, Steelers. Late, very end of the third quarter, 21-14 Steelers, 3rd and goal. Staubach throws a pass a little low, but Jack, who's wide open, he drops down to his knees. Hall of Fame tight end, by the way, drops it. Pass was a touch low, but he drops down to his knees and it hits him right in between the numbers and he drops it. And Verne on the radio says, "Oh, he must be the sickest man in America." Okay, no, and that but it was an outpouring, a heartfelt, and sure enough, and Jackie, and Jackie was hanging on too at the end of his career to win a Super Bowl. He played most of his career with the Cardinals.
I'm gonna look it up. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you. What a great sports day it is, and we think we've got a great show to match it. Hope your week has gone well. We've already gotten over the hump together. Hold on one moment. How the heck are you? Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. That's how we roll. I'm fired up, Mark. How about you?
I'm in a great mood, David. I'm cleanly shaven this morning, and I want to let everybody know, if you listened yesterday, it took David 18 minutes to shave. I timed myself this morning, 1 minute, 52.24 seconds.
How many days growth did you have? I had like
3.
a week and a half.
3.
Okay.
I shaved Monday. It was Thursday. 3 days growth, 1 minute, 52.24 seconds.
With a razor?
Of course, with the razor.
I'm just asking. I mean, because you can shave in a minute 24 or whatever it was with an electric razor. It doesn't mean you've cut off anything, but you feel like you've gone through your face in less than 2 minutes. So okay. Now you have to acknowledge, though, yes, I may be a slow shaver, but there's a lot more real estate to cover here.
There is where I think I'm 3 or 4 strokes across, you're maybe 4 or 5. There's one extra on each side of the face for you, for sure. It's like it's like cutting the grass there. You gotta have the lines properly done. As it's the opening day of baseball, we got to make the manicured field look perfect, David. That is the most important thing for today.
Right. And see, my face was kind of like when it rains for a few days and the grounds crew can't get onto the field to cut the grass, and then it grows excessively. And now look what we got to do. Right. So I'm glad we've got that in the books. We have a terrific show lined up for you today. No, we really do. Okay. We know we're, above average, but, there are times in which we bring it. We really do. And we have Verne Lundquist. We taped a lengthy interview with Verne yesterday after the show, and we will play that entire interview with you. We will break it into 3 parts. Next hour will be Miller and Moulton and Verne Lundquist as he caps off a legendary broadcasting career with his 40th and final Masters 2 weeks from today. How about that?
How about that is right. Get into his broadcast career, get into the Masters, get into lots of stuff with Verne. Had a great chat yesterday. It was fantastic to do.
You guys were on point, too. I mean, everyone who's listening, you got to stick around for the 7 o'clock hour, 3 segments. Like David said, you guys gave a great interview with Verne.
Wow. I think he wants to continue working on the show. He seems like, okay, I mean, all the stuff he's been telling his friends and the new people he's meeting in town and at the bar with the madness and what have you, well, how are the guys? They're all right. I actually think tonight and tomorrow, in which, if somebody says, so, what are they like? And he's like, they're not half bad.
We're wearing on them like we wear on our audience, David. We just wear you down.
There are times where it's particularly a pleasure to be a sponge around you guys. And yesterday was one of those moments. I'm serious. Taping that Verne Lundquist interview was awesome. But David, yeah, it's like hopping in the back of an Uber. Hey, you're that kid from Miller and Moulton.
What are they like? And then in the 8 o'clock hour, it's opening day of the baseball season. And the Sweet 16 gets underway, and we will cover both in earnest. But we have the radio voices of both the Rays and the Marlins joining us in the 8 o'clock hour live on opening day, and both teams are playing, and they're both at home. And neither one of them is going to get rained out, which has already happened to 2 other teams. You know why? Because they scheduled them in parts of the country where you don't schedule baseball in March. Unbelievable. Brewers and Mets are rained out.
Yeah, I know.
Why aren't we playing in Milwaukee? They have a roof.
Braves and Phillies are rained out.
Yeah. Why? A game was in Philadelphia.
You got that right.
How about Atlanta? Try Atlanta. About 1,000 miles south. What do you say? Anybody? Bueller? So those are just the guests, plus, the pleasant conversation that comes about here on Miller and Moulton. So fired up for the show today. Mark, it almost took you as long to shave as the amount of time that Draymond Green played last night in Magic Warriors.
Wow. He didn't make it but 4 minutes into that game.
As somebody that if I was involved in a basketball team as a player or a coach, I have a feeling I'd rack up some tees.
You also would tee people up as an official.
I would. You know what, though? I'd be a lot more patient than you think because I would talk to them. I would communicate. I would go, whoa, 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 whoa. All right. I could have teed you up right there. You keep going. That I'm going to tee you up. You just need to know that. Take it easy. I get it. You think I suck? I get it.
Fair. I agree. You'd be quick with the second tee. Once you've warned them that the tee's coming.
Yes.
And you gave them the tee and they keep going, you just look at them and go, really? You're going to press me now.
And I would say to them, I go, listen, people didn't come here to see me. They came here to see you and what have you. But I mean, it's as if, do you want to go to the locker room? Are you just sick and tired of seeing your team play tonight and you want to go back to the locker room and get a glass of wine? If so, let me know. The magic word is sangria. Just say it and I'll send you a packet. But yes, I admit when I'm wrong, though.
So do NBA officials. It's just a day after the game.
Well, or immediately after the game.
Oh, wow. Yeah, exactly.
Right. Wow, it cost them nothing. The last 2-minute report, they just, we got that wrong.
We got that wrong. So, yeah, Draymond, 4 minutes last night. And, Golden State needs these games. They're trying to hold on and then make the playoffs. And they got the hottest team in the NBA, just a game behind them. And Draymond, 4 minutes last night. Did you see Steph shaking his head? So is Steph younger brother or older brother? Okay. Isn't Steph like a year or older?
I think he's yes.
No, I know, but what we're asking here is because the
role he's playing.
The role he's playing is definitely that of older brother.
Gotcha.
Right. He's just shaking his head like, oh man, I love him, but golly. Yeah. We've all either seen that look or given that look.
Mostly seen on my end.
Me too.
Mostly seen. But despite Draymond getting thrown out 4 minutes into the game, Golden State beats Orlando.
Yeah. And Orlando was actually playing. I mean, Orlando's playing for seeding. At the very least, they want to avoid the play-in. But also, they're playing for seeding. They have a chance for home court advantage in a first-round playoff series. When's the last time the Magic had that? So, and they had been hot. Not as hot as the Lightning. Uh-oh. Just when we thought.
It was a month ago, David, that the Red Wings were 4 or so points ahead of the Lightning.
Mm-hmm.
The Lightning had teams closing in on them for the final wild card.
Oh, yeah.
And we were wondering out loud, are they going to make the playoffs?
And is this the end of the run? We were talking about both the Warriors and the Lightning.
Right.
And is this the end of the run? Which both started around the same time. The Warriors won the title in 2015. The Lightning went to the finals in 2015. I mean, this run, is nearly it is. This year is a decade-long run for both the Warriors and the Lightning. The Warriors have won more titles. The Lightning have won 2, and they've been in 2 other finals. So you got the one franchise that's been in 6 finals, the one franchise has been in 4. And the core of both are still there. There's not as many good pieces around them, but the core is still there. Both coaches are still there 10 years in. And the Warriors were playing well, and the Lightning weren't. And until this little 2-day road trip for the Warriors, man, look at what the Lightning have done over the last 2-3 weeks. Like 8-1.
Last night, they take care of Boston at home, albeit Boston playing their second consecutive game. A little tough when you got to go Florida, Tampa, back-to-back.
Right.
That used to be a trip in which teams looked forward to. Come down to Florida, play the Panthers, beat them, go play the Lightning, maybe have a good game, have a couple drinks, and get out of the Sunshine State with a round of golf, 3 points maybe, and in a better attitude. And now you better pack a lunch when you come play the 2 Florida teams.
And the Bruins are looking at the schedule going, there used to be an off day in between this. And it used to be great that you send us to Florida first because then we'd stay on that coast, we'd party, All right. We'd play golf, and then we'd get on the plane, the short flight, and we'd check into the hotel room around dinner time in Tampa. And then we'd have a nice team meal and what have you, and do the morning skate the next day, and let's go, boys. But no, back to back, no days off in between.
Boy, you're ready for the hockey playoffs. That was an exceptional let's go, boys.
Thank you.
There was even a little Canadian accent in that. If you want to play that back and hear it again, that was solid.
Come on, boys.
Let's go, boys.
Let's go, boys.
Very good.
That's a in between shifts or a morning skate, boys, right there. Let's go. Come on now. We're not working hard enough. Got to win those battles. Come on, boys. Keep it going, boys. So, the Lightning. We've got people in the Twitch chat room who put money on the Lightning a month ago, who were convinced that they were going to make some deals and that they're going to get in. And once they get in, well, they're going to be the Lightning. And now they've made some deals. They're slowly starting to get some pieces back. They're definitely going to make the playoffs. And once they do that, oh boy. Oh boy. I mean, my team's got the best or second best record in the league, and I'm looking at the standings every day going, please avoid Tampa in the first round, please.
Can Carolina catch us so we can play either Washington or Philadelphia?
Yes. Or can we finish first? Second overall doesn't help. We need to finish first. I don't want to play the Lightning.
Nobody does right now.
No.
And I still don't know if they have what it takes to win 16 games, David. But they can win 4.
For sure. For sure. And then they get back their second best defenseman probably for round 2 of the playoffs. Oh, it's a great time to be a sports fan. Opening day baseball, Sweet 16, and Verne Lundquist next hour on Miller and Moulton.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Wes, my understanding is while all the networks are offering Bill a spot on their studio show, he apparently isn't interested in a steady studio show gig. But Peyton's trying to bring him on Manningcast. So that's the part of him being involved in Monday Night Football. That's my understanding. And Belichick, it's an offer's been out there for like a month.
Well, also, David, I mean, we're on to Baltimore, right? Or we're on to New York.
Cincinnati.
We're on to Cincinnati.
I have to admit, I think it would be good for Bill to be on Manningcast. Because the biggest thing working against Bill is that he's just too big of an a-hole.
He's not likable. Yeah.
And so
Manningcast, they'll loosen him up a little bit.
Well, and Bill and Peyton have a relationship, a lot of respect between the two. And I think it would be good, because Eli would bust Belichick. And at some point, Belichick would start to give it back. And I think that'd be good. Plus, they'd bring on certain people, and Belichick could tell stories. And
go ahead, David. Sorry.
No. What were you going to say?
Well, I was just going to off topic.
Oh, final thing. I didn't watch the Dynasty, that 10-part series on the Patriots Dynasty. I mean, you get a lot of stuff that you didn't get before. People think it's pretty pro-Kraft, and anti-Belichick is apparently the word. But a lot of Patriot players who have seen it and even participated in it are critical of it and are coming to Belichick's defense.
Did you read any of the books?
No.
Okay.
Well, quite frankly, you know why? Because I never thought I would learn much about the Patriots.
Well, that's fine. I didn't either.
But apparently people tell some stuff that, it's like, oh, wow, never heard that. Oh, interesting. There you go, Kilo's dad. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. Although you're probably a little too old for the Gunnar Henderson jersey, but you know what? We'll slap you with a fine. And
how many more years do I have to wear the hat backwards? What's your guys' rule? Is it?
No, I don't know if we have a hat backwards rule. We just have a jersey rule. You've got a year. Let's say your birthday's late in the year, so you got about a year and a half of wearing jerseys. Once you turn 26, the jersey comes off.
Okay.
I don't think you'll adhere to that rule.
No.
Might not.
I don't know if you'll do it by 36.
Well, I put my own name on the back. It's a little different. A little.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, the Lions are releasing their new uniforms before the draft. They announced that the other day. They're going to have
more black in them.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
They're not black. They've never been black.
I know, but I think it's going to be an alternate. They'll wear it once a year in place of the color rush, which was terrible. The Lions color rush jersey was awful. The gray.
Yes.
It was so bad. So I think it's going to take the place of that, which will be good. And then rumor is they're going to go back to the Barry Sanders era for, the block numbers. I'm excited for that. Keep it simple. Those jerseys are awesome. That whole era all across the league.
Most fan bases, even the younger fans of today, when they see their team's jerseys from 30 and 40 years ago, they go, oh, I like those better.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even close for me. Plus, it was Barry. Oh.
I mean, literally the only person that wants to keep the Dolphins uniforms what they currently are is Stephen Ross.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes past the hour. At the top of the hour, we begin basically an hour-long interview with Verne Lundquist. It was a lengthy interview. We taped it after yesterday's show. Verne is wrapping up his legendary broadcasting career with his 40th and final Masters, which gets underway 2 weeks from today. And so we're going to spend some time with Uncle Verne. And it begins at the top of the hour, 8 o'clock hour, baseball and hoops. The voices of the Rays and the Marlins with some Sweet 16 talk. Yeah, that's how we roll. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Hey, did you see the Caitlin Clark story from yesterday?
I did. She's being offered some serious cash.
Serious cash. So it's Ice Cube, right? Isn't he like the famous guy that's part owner of
he owns the Big Three League.
Big Three League. So he wants Caitlin Clark to play in it. Huh. Okay. $5 million. 10 games. 10 Saturdays, apparently. Yep. $5 million. And then I don't know how many teams there are. I don't know how many make the playoffs. I don't know how many games you have to win the championship, but $5 million. If you're Caitlin Clark, and this may sound like a silly question, I nominated for our poll question, but if you're Caitlin Clark, do you do it? And it sounds ridiculous on the one hand, Mark, because wait a minute, I play 10, 12 games, I make $5 million. Why in the world wouldn't I do it? Well, you're going to be playing against men. You're going to be shooting the guy's ball, which is a little bigger. Okay, it's not the one you've been used to playing with. And I'm going to say it again, you're going to be playing against men. Even if they're quote unquote over the hill men. Okay. 35, 37-year-old ex-NBAers. I don't know. I like their chances against Caitlin Clark.
I do too. And of all of the reasons to say no to me, the ball. And I'm not joking around. Go to Dick's, go to wherever your sporting goods store is. Go grab a regulation basketball, then go grab the women's ball. I can palm the women's ball. I can't palm a basketball.
The women's ball, I think, is 28.5 inches in circumference. Men's is 29.5, so it is an inch difference, and it's a lot bigger than you'd think of a difference. You know what I mean? Like you're right, Mark. If you pick up a women's ball and then a men's ball, you can tell right away.
Now, in theory, she'd have time to prepare for this. She'd probably work out extensively for a couple of weeks shooting the bigger ball. Okay, which I'm sure she's played with in pickup games, but she doesn't play with it regularly. So, none of us would expect her to shoot the ball as well with the bigger ball than with the smaller ball, right?
Right.
And that's a big part of her appeal. The other thing is, who's she going to guard? And look, who's she going to guard?
Run a zone.
Well,
a 1-2.
No, I say that tongue in cheek, Dave.
I know.
You got a great.
No. But I mean, you can. I mean, first off, those guys don't on every possession want to run around and run through screens and what have you. I mean, they're older. They're like, no, let's play a little 2-1 zone. Yeah, fine, shoot the three. I got 1 in 3 shot of making it. Go knock yourself out. If you ever have seen some big three ball. But I mean, there's a chance for her to not look good. Is it worth $5 million? Your gut feeling?
No, I wouldn't do it. This is almost live PGA Tour.
Okay.
Is that there's no world ranking points in the big three, if you know what I'm saying. She's not going to be able to play in the Olympics. She won't be thought of as she won't have the opportunity to become the best women's basketball player ever. I don't know if she will regardless. But to be the best women's basketball player ever, you've got to play in the WNBA.
Well, that's still up in the air. First off, this doesn't. All right. It's gray area right now as to whether or not this knocks her out of playing in the WNBA. All right. The big three has apparently looked at the fine print, and their argument is this doesn't knock her out of playing in the WNBA. She can do both.
I'm sure she can. If you're the Indiana Fever.
Nice.
That one, everybody.
Yeah.
I got the fever.
A little later on, more cowbell.
Wouldn't let her.
Well,
I wouldn't let. No. David, I would not let her. If she signed a contract with me with the Indiana Fever, I would not let her play in the Big Three. Wouldn't do it.
You'd put it in the contract.
You're damn right.
okay. And come on now. Now Caitlin Clark wants to play for the Indiana Fever. Her longtime boyfriend works for the Indiana Pacers. She wants to be in Indianapolis. If the Fever didn't have the number 1 pick in the WNBA draft, she might very well have come back to Iowa, where she had one more year she could still play. Okay, but the fact that it was the Fever absolutely sealed the deal for her because she gets to be with her guy, and they've been together a while. So if you're the Fever, though, Mark, I know you don't want her to play, but the rules right now, apparently it's a loophole. She can play. You can be as mad as you wanted her if she goes, yeah, it's $5 million. And do you know what my salary is this year? $76,535. I'm playing. What are you going to do? Suspend her? Banner?
No, I would not want her to play if I were the Indiana Fever. If I would change the damn pay scale to keep her in my. And I'm not joking around here, David. I don't want her to be a sideshow in the Big Three league when I'm trying to establish credibility for this league.
I grant. I'm totally with you if I'm the WNBA. I don't want her even working out one time with a Big Three team. But right now, there's nothing in the rules that bans her from doing it. That's number one. Now, you could sit down today, I guess, and, put in a new rule. The other thing that the commissioner of the WNBA went out of her way yesterday in saying is that, yeah, while her salary may only be $76,000 and change, apparently they've agreed that they could work out a deal basically based on all the new people she brings to the arena and what have you. The commissioner said point blank, she'll make over $3 million next year playing for us. So the commissioner was trying to say, listen, this ain't a money thing. She's going to make plenty of money playing for us. Never mind, she said, her endorsements. Just, we'll figure out a way to get $3 million in her pocket, which I'm guessing also has a few WNBA players going,
Yeah, don't know what to tell the rest of the WNBA players. This is like Tiger coming to the PGA Tour and other players complaining that Tiger was getting all the money. Don't know what to tell you. Shut up and deal. It's going to be better for your league in the long run if she plays in it. Make no mistake about it. All of you will benefit from Caitlin Clark playing in your league. That's what you've got to hitch your wagon to in this one.
So I don't know. She seems popular enough that you could do a Caitlin Clark poll question. The Big Three offered her $5 million to play in their summer league this year. All right. If you're Caitlin Clark, do you do it? No, it could backfire. Hell yeah, it's $5 million.
I'm in.
So I think it's a fascinating story.
Question coming. We have a Caitlin Clark poll question coming.
Well,
it shows the growth of this show, David.
Well, and shows what a phenomenon she is.
No, that's what it shows. Because people are watching.
Yeah.
In a big way.
Yeah. And if LSU and Iowa both win, I think they play each other in the Elite Eight. A few people might pay attention to that, Mark. The starting five is next. Uncle Verne at the top of the hour.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Hi, I'm Jason.
And I'm Todd with the Diamond District. I believe in complete transparency. If you're shopping for diamonds in Naples, you're paying too much. If you're shopping in the Cape or Fort Myers, you also won't see the selection you deserve to have. If you're online, there's no human connection, and you won't know if your diamond is beautiful or not until it shows up in the mail.
Just because it's GI certified doesn't mean it's brilliant. There's so much more to a diamond than its cut, color, and clarity that makes it beautiful. Visit us at the Diamond District for a non-commissioned and educational presentation and quit paying more in Naples or buying blind from the internet. The Diamond District has the rarest diamonds from half carat to 10 carats. You won't find a bigger selection or better value.
And you won't find a better buying experience. Jason and I are in the store nearly every day, and we look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Did you see Empire's comment? Just shaved a minute 44. Come on, man. Did you shave a 10-day growth? And mine gets pretty thick.
152 for me.
Yep.
All right, Caitlin Clark was offered $5 million to play in Ice Cube's Big 3 League. Should she do it? Yes, it's $5 million. No, it could backfire.
Love it.
I'm really fired up that I got to include Ice Cube in a poll question and use his Twitter handle to do so. Today was a good day.
We haven't even gotten Uncle Verne. It was funny. We got done taping yesterday, and you said, the show's already a quarter done.
Yeah, what's the Twitch stream going to be like for an hour?
I'll be fine. They've not heard it. I'm not going anywhere.
I know. I'm just saying, you like as far as the visual, just be everyone walking around. By the way, I'll have to time it, but I think my shaving time is probably in between you guys, but way closer to Mark's side.
Yeah, no kidding.
Probably takes me like 2 minutes.
I can't believe it takes that long.
Someone yesterday, I forget who it was, but they're like, Trent, how many times a year do you shave? 12? That's pretty good. I took a picture and I sent it to Felipe, and he goes, those guys are relentless.
He's doing well?
Yeah, he's doing great.
Is he still with his lady?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
They live together. They got the, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yes. They live at a house together.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, with another couple. So there's 4 of them.
Oh, my goodness.
Yep.
Wow.
It's funny. They
There's no way his parents know.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'm supposed to tell you guys.
That's beyond Catholic. That's Cuban Catholic.
I know. I know.
Yeah, they have their room, and then there's a separate bedroom that is it's just TVs, and that's what Felipe watches the NBA in. It's got LED lights around it. It's awesome. It's really
we
good
need
stuff.
a 3-bedroom place. Why? I need a man cave. I need an NBA. What's it? Pass. I need
League
NBA
pass. Yeah.
I need a league pass room.
Got a nice couch in there.
Oh my goodness! Wow.
I mean, we didn't tell Eve's mom that we were living together.
Really?
No, and I mean, we were old.
Right.
That's funny.
Right. I mean, she was what, mid-30s? You were right around 40?
Yeah.
Still fearful of the Catholic mom.
Nancy can't find that out. And it was only for a short time when I was in between houses. I lived with her for a while.
Can't tell mom. By the way, yes, it was Paul who made that joke. That was a good joke yesterday. Made me laugh.
So when I was engaged to my wife, the minister's daughter, she was the one. I figured we wouldn't live together until we got married. And she was the one that decided we were doing the long distance thing. And she said, nope, we're doing this.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes until Uncle Verne Lundquist, for darn near the entire 7 o'clock hour. We had a lengthy interview with Verne after the show yesterday. He was gracious with his time. Terrific stories about his career and the Masters. And his career will end 2 weeks from today. Well, not 2 weeks today, but the Masters begins 2 weeks today. His 40th and final Masters, and that will end one of the legendary broadcasting careers that has taken place in the last 50, 60 years. So Verne Lundquist at the top of the hour. And then in our 8 o'clock hour, opening day of baseball, combined with the Sweet 16, the radio voices of the Rays and Marlins, along with some hoop. What do you say? You in? Sounds like a pretty good show, right? You're going, man, getting this from Miller and Moulton? What the heck's going on? Time now for
The Starting Five. 5 stories you need to know. It's the Starting Five on Miller and Moulton. Here's number 1.
Let's start with the Sweet 16. The tourney resumes tonight, Mark. Clemson, Arizona, San Diego State, UConn early. I don't know if that does it for anybody. I don't know if that's really exciting unless you're the whole UConn thing trying to repeat. But the late games, hell, Alabama, North Carolina. If you're going to stay up, over under $175, what would you take?
I am hoping for the over. I would bet the over. Overs are more fun. And I am really hoping that they roll the balls out and get after it in that game, David.
And then the other nightcap is a fascinating contrast in styles. Illinois and Iowa State, a 2-3 matchup in which Illinois wants to roll the ball out and score 90 plus on anybody. And Iowa State's like, yeah, you'll score 60 and you'll like it. So that's the 4 games tonight. Andy Enfield, after 11 years, appears as if he's leaving USC for SMU. Hello. USC going to the Big Ten, SMU going to the ACC. Baylor assistant John Jacobs is the new head coach at FAU. He was Scott Drew's right-hand guy at Baylor. Think about what Baylor's accomplished here in the last 7 years, and Jacobs apparently a big part of it from recruiting. And so for what it's worth, the national media loves the hire for FAU. They think they got a big-time up-and-coming coach. Remember, Dusty May, I don't think had been a head coach when he got the FAU job. College of Charleston's Pat Kelsey ends up getting the Louisville job. Yesterday at this time, a lot of thought about Richard Pitino getting the job. Pat Kelsey gets the Louisville job. Louisville had to aim higher than that, don't you think?
Oh, there's no doubt they were aiming higher than that, but for whatever reason, I don't know if it's, conference realignment, what's upcoming and with that conference, if people are hesitant. But
by the way, with all these openings, Michigan and Vandy and Oklahoma State's still open. They can't get anybody to take the job. Oklahoma State. That's interesting, at least to me. All right, it's opening day in baseball in the States. Everybody's going to play. Well, except the Braves and the Phillies and the Brewers and the Mets, because they've already been rained out. Because Major League Baseball was stupid enough to schedule those games in the Northeast instead of one in the South and one in a roof. Marlins, Rays, darn near playing the first games of the year. I think technically is the Angels Orioles now the first game of the year at 3:00.
That's a 3:00 game. That's the first one.
And Pirates, Marlins at 4, Jays, Rays at 4. Both Miami and Tampa Bay are home for opening day. Rays with some roster maneuvering. They've got some last-minute injuries. They also had a Japanese pitcher who they determined wasn't going to make the roster, so they traded him to the Red Sox. Orioles officially have a new owner. Man, did they... Now, I know Angelos died and all, but man, did they want him out. They pushed this sucker through in less than 2 months. David Rubenstein, welcome to your first opening day. He's going to own 70% of the Orioles, valuation of a little under $2 billion. And the Dodgers signed their catcher, Will Smith, to a 10-year contract yesterday, $140 million extension. Decent amount of money is deferred. He's 29. They didn't sign a 25-year-old catcher to a 10-year deal. They signed a 29-year-old catcher to a 10-year deal. That's very interesting. NBA.
Seems ridiculous, David.
And obviously they'll say he'll, midway through that contract, he'll start playing another position. And but he's not a slugger. He's a good player. He's a 20 homer guy. He's a good catcher. He makes contact. You can put him in multiple places in the lineup. He's a good, solid player. They don't normally get 10-year deals at 29.
Right. Where are you moving him to in 6 years? First base with those type of production numbers? It just doesn't.
Right. I mean, do you move them
it's their money, do what you want. But
exactly. They're the Dodgers. They do a lot of winning. They're smarter than us, but yeah. All right. NBA. Draymond Green gets ejected in 4 minutes in Orlando. And yet Golden State beats the Magic anyway, 101-93. They beat the Heat and the Magic on back-to-back nights in Florida. That's a good road trip. The Rockets have won 10 in a row. They went to OKC, who played without Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and beat the Thunder in overtime, 132-126, to remain a game behind Golden State for the final playoff spot in the West. By the way, Mark, this is the NBA. Phoenix at home the other night lost to the Wemby-less Spurs. And so last night they went to Denver and beat the Nuggets. Makes sense, right? 104-97. Harden returned to Philly for the first time with the LA Clippers. He had 16 points, 14 assists. Kawhi with a big block late. And the Clippers hold off and beat Philly 108-107. So Anthony Davis played the 53 minutes 2 nights ago in Memphis, 2 nights ago in Milwaukee. LeBron didn't play. AD sat out last night. LeBron played. He had 23 points, 14 rebounds, 12 assists. They beat Memphis by 12. The Knicks, with their biggest win of the year by point margin, they beat Toronto by 44. NHL. Lightning beat the Bruins 3-1. They helped themselves. They're just, 2 points behind the Leafs for third place in the division to avoid this whole wild card thing? Of course, at this point,
it's a tougher opponent.
you could argue that right now, if they get into third, they play the Panthers, at least the way the standings are today. Lightning did the Panthers a favor, though. Florida remains 2 points behind Boston, but Florida just gained another game in hand on the Bruins. So they're 2 points behind the Bees, but they have 2 games in hand as they try to win that division. One other game, Ottawa beat Buffalo to basically end their playoff hopes 6-2. And Mark, it's funny, about 13 minutes after the Virginia legislature said, yeah, that $2 billion proposal in Northern Virginia, and we're going to build an arena and for the Wizards and the Caps and all this shopping and whatever. We're not going to do that. That deal is dead. And 13 minutes later, the Leonsis family and the Wizards and Caps announced they're staying in D.C.
Well, didn't the D.C. was it? And I don't know the position, but someone in the District of Columbia issued something over the weekend that basically said they had to stay there until 2047, something like that, 2037.
I think it was 2037. They basically said, you guys haven't read the fine print, have you? You can't move for like 12 more years. I don't know what you're talking about. And so, yeah, by the middle of the week, they're staying. $515 million on a new arena project for especially for the Wizards. I mean, they do nothing but win. They're certainly deserving of this. And but now they're staying in DC through 2050. You know, when you talk about franchises that could move. Now, I know the fan bases would be bummed and what have you, but I mean, Seattle is dying for an NBA team. And people in Seattle were like, you guys can move here. Just leave it for the Caps. By the way, in the Lightning win, Braden pointed the game-winning goal, and Kucherov had an empty netter because that's what they do. They score. NFL. Interesting signing in Carolina. Jadeveon Clowney. 31 years old. Got a 2-year deal. 18 to 24 million because he's got some sack incentives at 8, 10, and 12 sacks. But remember, Clowney went to South Carolina. Rock Hill, South Carolina, where he's from, is like a half hour south of Charlotte. So Jadeveon Clowney essentially going home. I mean, he's not going to play a meaningful game the rest of his career, but he's going home. And the Broncos announced they're signing former Lions wide receiver Josh Reynolds, 2-year deal for up to $14 million. We mentioned Caitlin Clark got the $5 million offer from Ice Cube in the Big 3 League. Her rookie WNBA salary will be $76,000 and change. Don't worry, though. By year 4, she'll be making almost $98,000. The WNBA is working on a thing where, you know, the increase in attendance or what have you, they're going to slide her money. And WNBA claims she'll make $3 million in her first year in the league. But right now, it's a gray area. She can play in the Big 3 League. At least that's what the Big 3 League thinks. WNBA not denying that she can do it, but they clearly don't want her to. And just a little side note. Did you see John Anderson announced he's leaving?
I did. Saw that this morning.
ESPN and SportsCenter has been with him a quarter century. And he said, yeah, 25 years. Lots changed. Not necessarily for the better. I think it's time to leave. Good for you. Good for you. And at 10 minutes before the hour, that was
the Starting 5 every weekday morning at this time on Miller and Moulton.
Caitlin Clark, the focus of our poll question. If you are her, do you play in the Big 3 League? Playing against men? Playing with the men's ball, which is a little bigger? Chance to not look so good for $5 million.
Well, by the way, why does the WNBA not want her to go to the Big 3? I don't understand.
Well, first off, I think the seasons. Oh, well, but I mean, you could, though, if you're the WNBA, more publicity, what have you, it'll help us. But they want those eyeballs tuning into their product. Also, I do think the seasons overlap, don't they?
Right. From the way I read it, that she could play in the 10-week Big Three season and then, finish the WNBA season.
Yeah, and obviously if you're if you're the Indiana Fever, you want to sell season tickets, and that's not going to work. I mean, can you loan her out just on, because it's Saturdays, right? They play on Saturdays, I think.
David, you have to do everything in your power to not let her play in the Big Three league. You do. I'm sorry.
If you're the WNBA and your lawyers come back and say, believe it or not, our rules do not prohibit that, do you change the rules? Do you literally sit down today and change the rule?
I would think about it. I think it would be a bad look to change the rules. I think you just have to try to win her over that, her goals in life were not to play in the Big Three.
Right.
Her goal was to play in the WNBA.
Right. But also she's, trying to make money here. It's $5 million. $5 million.
I gotcha. Then figure out the way to get her to the $3 million in the WNBA.
So you would not change the rules. You would basically pick up the phone. Well, not this week because she's still playing and what have you. But you'd try to gauge whether or not she's going to take this seriously.
Yes, I would. And as far as changing the rules, I would consider it. But I think part of the problem is most of these WNBA players all play overseas as well. And that's how you're going to allow your league to go play all over the world.
But not
let Caitlin Clark play in the Big Three. I see that being an issue.
Well, also, whether or not you actually would change the rules, I think we all agree she's a player worth changing the rules for. She's the most important women's player in generations.
Ever.
You could argue ever. Yes,
ever.
You certainly could.
Nobody's moved it. I'm not saying she's the best.
No.
I don't
most
think
important.
that she is.
Yeah.
But she's the most dynamic, and no one's ever brought these eyeballs to the women's game before. That's undeniable.
Correct. There have been two women's golfers that really moved the needle. You got to go all the way back in the late 70s. Nancy Lopez moved the needle, and Michelle Wie moved the needle. This is a female athlete that moves the needle. Uncle Verne next.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When choosing something of high value and personal significance, such as a diamond, you want to shop with the best. And the mall is not the place to be. Here are my friends, Jason and Todd with the Diamond District. Take a stroll in the mall, pop into a few jewelry stores, and you'll soon discover you're in the wrong place. Rings begin to look all alike. You're not finding GIA certified diamonds. You quickly realize you know more than a salesperson helping you, and all the same financing gets pushed on you.
Visit Jason and me, and you'll find America's top bridal designers dealing exclusively with the Diamond District. You'll find the largest selection of GIA certified diamonds, all priced 8 to 10% over cost. You'll find educated sales consultants who have many years' experience and are not paid commissions.
And you'll find Todd and me in the store nearly every day, wanting to shake your hand and welcome you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Twitch chat room, talk to me. I'm bored. No, I do not watch wrestling. For the record. Nothing against it. I got a lot of friends who love it. Just not my cup of tea. Of course, I've seen Animal House. I just haven't. I'm not. I've seen it probably twice, I think. Can't quote it as much as I probably should be able to. But. Paula, I do miss Detroit. I miss Michigan. But I don't miss 28 degrees. I'm with you. Timothy Chalamet is an outstanding actor. Paula, I agree. Michigan air is fresh. Fam, great question. I am adjusting okay. The social life is a little tougher because it's harder to meet people my age here, but we're getting there. I don't have any problem talking to people, so it's kind of just a matter of who's in the bar. Tin Cup, Caddyshack. You're going all the golf movies, EB. Good stuff, though. Adam, no Crocs. Haven't had Crocs in probably 10 years, but I need some Crocs. All right. Verne Lundquist, you guys will enjoy this.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
And welcome back to Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton. This hour, we begin with the legendary Verne Lundquist, who is wrapping up his broadcasting career in a little less than 3 weeks when he calls his final and 40th Masters on CBS. Verne, it's David and Mark. Thanks for doing this. How are you?
I'm doing fine, guys. Well, one of you I know very well, Mark. I haven't met you, but I'm fascinated to be on the show with you.
So we'll do the Masters in a bit. You did local TV in Texas. You ended up in Dallas in the mid-'60s, right? When did you get your first network TV gig?
After I was lucky enough to get the Cowboys radio broadcast. I started with the Cowboy radio broadcast in '67 as the pre and post game show host, and in that role, I went to the Ice Bowl. I was there freezing like everybody else in 1967. I did the pre and post for a couple of years. Then I was the color guy, and then Bill Mercer, who was the play-by-play guy, had always wanted to do baseball, and the Senators moved to Texas and became the Rangers, and Bill moved over there, and Tex Schramm hired me as the play-by-play guy. So I was the play-by-play broadcaster for Dallas from '72 to '83, and I had a chance to go to Los Angeles at one point, and Tex said, "What do you want to do in 10 years?" And I said, "I'd love to do network play-by-play." And he said, "Don't go to L.A. because there are 5,000 guys out there more qualified than you are. Stay here, and if you're any good, and I obviously think you can do it, the network will find you." And that is what happened. In '74, I got a call from ABC Sports. And so the first network game I did was a regional in September of '74, Ohio University at Kent State. And there was a graduate assistant on the Kent State staff who wound up being a pretty good football coach. His name was Nick Saban. And I got to know Nick very, very well over the years when I was doing SEC football. And we used to have some fun pretending like we remembered each other during that September game in '74.
Was football the sport you always wanted to do?
Well, it's the one with which I felt most comfortable. I grew up in the South, here in Austin, where I'm speaking to you from right now, from where I am speaking to you. Nonsense up with which I will not put, as Winston Churchill once said. But I grew up in a Texas football culture. And so that was the one I really felt comfortable doing. And that, I think fortunately for me, that was the first assignment I was asked to fulfill. And then, it branched out that work with the ABC. I was a part-timer there, never a full-timer. And it came to an end. I got one of the dreaded phone calls, and we all get at some point, we're moving in a different direction. And so I was wandering around Dallas, recently married to Nancy, and all of a sudden I got a call from a fellow who had been at ABC and gone to CBS. He said, it ain't much, but we can start you with 6 college football games and 2 basketball. So that was my initial contract with CBS in '82. And fortunately for me, they, the work expanded. And the biggest break I got then after I'd gone to CBS was when Frank Chirkinian called me and said, "Have you ever done any golf?" And I said, "Oh, yeah, about 10 or 12. He said, "Well, we're going to try you on golf." And that really was pivotal for all the good things that have happened to me since.
You told me once that you kind of knew your days at ABC were up when the entire network went to Lake Placid to do the Olympics except you.
You got that right. they called me and said, you didn't make the cut for Lake Placid. Heck, I didn't make the cut for Innsbruck in 76. And in Lake Placid, I was sent to Peoria, Illinois to substitute for, what was his name? He's passed away now. One of the guys Dave Dials. He did the studio for ABC. He was at Lake Placid. So I went to Lake Placid and filled in for him on a bowling show or something like that. And I kind of knew then that I was not tilting in the right direction. And then when 80 came, and then that was in 76 in Innsbruck, and in 80 is when I knew I was cooked. And that's when I just didn't get to work in Lake Placid. In Innsbruck. Right. Matter of fact, I did my first golf tournament in 1976 when I didn't get to Innsbruck, and I got a call from a guy named Terry Jastro, and he said, I know you're disappointed, but this might make you feel better. You're going to be at the Hawaiian Open at Wailea Country Club. So that did salve the wound a little bit.
We'll get to the Masters in a moment, and we're talking with the legendary Verne Lundquist. I do want to get you to tell a story that I don't know if we've ever gotten you to tell on our airwaves. Can you tell the Darrell Royal, Mrs. Royal story?
Yeah, David, I sure can. I got to work with Coach Royal. I had two idols when I was growing up. The late Doak Walker and the late Darrell Royal. And, both. Beg your pardon?
Nope. No, go ahead.
Oh, okay. We lived full time in Steamboat Springs, Colorado, and Doak lived there, and I got to know him really well. And he and I co-sponsored a charity golf event for 15 years, and we became very, very good friends. And then Coach Royal and I got to work together. I got my start here in Austin 61 years ago. Good gosh almighty. And I covered UT because that's what you did in Austin. Got to know Coach Royal. So in 1980, he had retired from Texas in 76, and we were paired together at ABC. And so we're doing a college football game in Manhattan, Kansas. And believe me, there's a distinct difference in the big Manhattan and the little Manhattan. And we were flying back. We drove to Kansas City, flew back to Dallas. We got to Dallas, and he said, this is Saturday afternoon, evening. He said, what are you doing tomorrow? And I said, well, I don't have anything planned because the Cowboys have a Monday night game. He said, good. You and Nancy get on an airplane, fly to Austin. Edith and I will pick you up, and we're going to spend the day together. Well, I was over the moon. And so that is what happened. We stayed with them at their home in Onion Creek Country Club here in Dallas. We went out to the Hill Country and played golf at Willie Nelson's golf course, about which Willie Nelson once famously said, par here is whatever I whatever I say it is. Yesterday, as a matter of fact, par for the front nine was 46, and I birdied 2 holes and shot 44. So, got to meet Willie Nelson at that point, and we just had the best time with Coach Royal. He developed Alzheimer's late in his life. And the last time I got to see him, I was doing a Texas Villanova basketball game at home here in Austin at the Irwin Center. And Bill Little, who was the SID at Texas, came over to me and he said, the coach is here. He's up in a booth up to two stories up. He's having a really good day. Why don't I come and get you at halftime? We'll have 6-7 minutes. I know the back way up there, and you could say goodbye to him. So Bill Little and I took an elevator, went up. I walked in. Coach was having a good day. I got to tell him I loved him and give him a hug, and he hugged me back. And that was the last time I saw him. But I love that man.
And Mark, you and I have told some stories growing up in the media, but Verne once told me that also when he was covering Coach Royal got mad at him about and called up and berated him. And apparently Mrs. Royal heard it and then proceeded to get madder at Coach Royal. And Verne, I believe that the phone rang shortly thereafter and Coach Royal was apologizing, wasn't he?
That's right, David. This was in '64, my second year here, and he had 3 football players who had gone to a local motel on the interstate and were drunk, and it was 1 o'clock in the morning, and they pounded on doors, and some poor fella happened to be a Texas A&M visiting professor, and they just beat the guys to a bloody pulp. Well, they were arrested. It was front page news, and the local TV station where I was working moved me to the top of the newscast to report on the story. And I got home. I was living with my mom and dad here. And the phone rang, and my mom said, it's for you. And it was Coach Royal. He went into me, and he said, you're trying to destroy my program with crap like that. I said, Coach, it's the news. He said, no, it's not news. It's 3 guys. I said, there are 3 athletes. I said, if Joe Schmo has a heart attack in downtown Congress, we don't talk about it. But if you have a heart attack in downtown, it's going to be the lead story. Same with this. And he said, no. Well, then about, 3 weeks later, there was a continuance. And I was asked to lead the newscast again. I swallowed hard and said, I remember the 3 guys' names, and that there had been a postponement of the trial. Well, I get home, have dinner, phone rings. Mom says, it's for you. Verne, this is Daryl. Edith tells me I was wrong to get into your case 2 weeks ago, so I just wanted to call and apologize. Well, if I thought a lot of him before that, then he went into, elevator heaven. I mean, he just shot up. And I knew him really well.
The legendary Verne Lundquist, kind enough to join us here on Miller and Moulton. When we next hear from Verne, we will get into the Masters, this being his 40th and final Masters. Miller and Moulton and Verne Lundquist. Thanks for listening.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
If you're in love and thinking about a diamond, you'll want to hear from my friends Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When purchasing a diamond, you deserve a relaxed, stress-free, and educational experience. You want to have a good time and feel comfortable. You want selection, quality, and value.
At the Diamond District, you'll get it all. With our team of non-commissioned diamond advisors, no one's in a rush. We care only about you and making sure your needs and wishes are fulfilled.
You'll be wowed by our selection of GIA certified diamonds, stunning diamond bracelets, earrings, pre-owned Rolex watches, exotic ruby, sapphire, emerald, and tanzanite jewelry. There's something for everyone at the Diamond District, and all at the lowest prices anywhere.
Jason and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day. We look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Worth.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Hope you're enjoying the interview so far. I was able to make it to Milano's, the Cuban place, during that last break and pick up empanadas and croquetas. Guillermo, if you're in there, not as good as the place on Boy Scout there, but it's damn good.
I will say I'm 2 bites in because Mark treated me and came back with very good. Very, very good.
Yeah, not a lot of Cuban food in Grand Rapids.
No, not at all. So this next one is 7.5 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, we can do play of the day.
Yeah, we'll come back to play of the day and then.
Yeah. Perfect. I will say there's been no sign of David this entire time.
No. Speak of the devil.
Mark went and got food.
I went old school. Ran to the Cuban place and got food.
That's awesome. Well, we had a half hour.
Listen to the interview. Got some food. Sounds good over the air.
No tuna mac, EB Hill. But that's a good thought. Big bowl of cereal. So, right. Yes. I'm making eggs. Yeah. No.
No, his wife is.
And that's hysterical also.
That's funnier to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like we've talked about this, but are you guys breakfast guys? Like, do you?
I am.
No.
So, Mark, you're a big.
I like going out to breakfast.
Gotcha. My dad is too. Huge.
No.
Must be something in the water up in the Saginaw Bay.
Yep.
David, meanwhile, bowl of Cheerios.
Or pizza. Well, we didn't have a lot of money. I mean, but the only breakfast I had 6 days a week was cereal. Now, if I went over my grandparents, my grandma would make French toast, which was just awesome. But also, since I was doing the TV thing, I was always working afternoons and evenings. So, Trent, and then I'd hit the bar a few nights a week. So, I'd sleep through breakfast. I'd wake up 9, 10 o'clock.
Well, that's exactly where I was before taking this job. I would wake up at 11:30 every day. I'd try to wake up before noon because then I would feel a little bit better about myself. But...
Set the alarm for like 11:48. I got to get up by noon.
6 months in Nashville. Ooh. Plus I didn't really have a stable job. That was, we were living fast. That was fun.
So this is stable, huh? Is that what you think this is? This is stable?
It's more stable than I was dealing with.
Oh, Miller and Moulton think we're day to day, but okay.
Okay, here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X with the legendary Verne Lundquist. So you get the Masters gig. Is this kind of like Al Michaels getting hockey at the Olympics? They called you, said, have you ever done this before? You said, 3-4 times, and they went, fine, you got it.
Yeah, that was kind of it. I don't mean to be too ridiculous with this whole story, but I got the call on December 1st of 1982, and it was Frank Cherkinian, a gruff Armenian American. Gruff doesn't begin to describe him. We called him the Ayatollah, partly out of respect, but mostly out of absolute fear. And he had a gruff way of speaking. He said, Lundquist, I like your work. I'm going to put you on golf. And he said, in that same tone of voice, here are your assignments: Pebble Beach, Jack's Tournament in Ohio, the Byron Nelson, the Colonial, and oh, yes, you're going to work Augusta. But because that's going to be your first golf tournament with us, I want you to come out west week before Pebble Beach and do the Phoenix Open, because I want you to, the Pebble is a high profile event. The Phoenix Open is going to be on opposite the Super Bowl and nobody will be watching. So you can work with our guys. So Nance and I flew out to Phoenix on a Wednesday. We didn't do cable then. And we went on the air on Saturday afternoon. I was in the 16th hour. And here at 18, we're Pat Summerall and Ken Venturi. At 17, Ben Wright and Tom Weisskopf. I was at 16, Steve Melnick at 15. And I looked at Nancy and I said, this is the big time. And things went well right away. I melded with the group, and they seemed to accept me. And so the 5 guaranteed events, which were 6 with the addition of Phoenix, they kept asking me back. And I was relishing it. But the 5 guaranteed events before the first year was out became 17. And I became a regular member of the CBS Golf family. And I do think, in retrospect, getting golf was the impetus for a lot of what happened later in my life and my career. So it's been a blessing 39 times over, and will be the 40th time here shortly.
Verne, when you first started doing the Masters, was Augusta? I lived in Atlanta in the early 90s, and I remember practice round tickets were not difficult to get. It wasn't the lottery that it is now, the craziness that it is now. So when you first went to Augusta, just how different was it then than it is now?
Well, my first one was 83. I missed 2 in 1997 and 98. We had a regime change at CBS, and when we lost the NFL in 1994, I stayed for a year at CBS, and then accepted an offer to go to Turner Broadcasting, and worked the NFL and college and NBA basketball and other things. So now in the meantime, I was doing 20 figure skating events with Scott Hamilton. We were counter programming against the NFL on Fox, and we were doing okay. I mean, they could sell advertising. So in my mind, I stayed at CBS, but in the mind of management, no, I was with the other guys. So I didn't work 97, 98. All I did was miss Tiger's first win. But anyway, and then I went back in 98 after we got the rights to the NFL back. But to your question, dramatically different. Just the rules and regulations were much more stringent then than they are now, I think. And hey, it's their tournament. It is the best run tournament in the world. There's nothing comparable because of the way the membership cares about the course and the people who come there. But tickets were never easy, even back then. They might have been in the 60s. But even in the early 80s when I started, you had to know somebody. And you know, fortunately, now I know people. So, but I did an event last night here in Austin with one of my dear friends, David Faraday, and we did a fundraiser for the Headliners Foundation here in Austin. And David and I got a few stories about him. We were housemates for 11 years at Augusta, and I knew him before and after, and I say that in the context of David has some demons, and he was an alcoholic and addicted to opioids, and his second marriage, and she was there last night too. His wife Anita, his gorgeous, beautiful, wonderful wife Anita, she turned his life around. They've been married 26 years, and anyway, David joined us in '97, the year I missed, and then he stayed until he went to CBS, to NBC, but and now he's with Live Golf. Talk about an elephant in the room. It came up last night, obviously, but not in any kind of a derogatory term. And I asked David, incidentally, I'm getting sidetracked here, but how he sees this whole thing working out with Live and PGA Tour. And he said, I can't predict it. He said, something's going to work out, but God knows, let's hope it does. So, and my first 2 years at Augusta, I did the 13th hole. Well, hello. That's kind of pleasant. And I wound up over the years, I did every hole on the second 9 except 10 and 18. But for the last 25 years, I've been 16, and I wouldn't trade that place for anything. And David was talking last night about his perch at 15 for all the years he was with us and what he could see around him. Well, at 16, in the tower, I can see third shots on 15. I can see tee shots and second shots on 17. I also covered the par 3-6, which is behind me. I can see tee shots on 6. I mean, I wouldn't trade my spot for anywhere.
And for one final time, Verne on the perch on 16. The Masters gets underway 2 weeks from today. It'll be his 40th and final Masters, wrapping up in his words, about a 55-year network television career and wrapping up a 60-plus year broadcasting career. More with Uncle Verne coming up in just a bit. But got some business to attend to.
Yeah, you have to follow Miller and Moulton all the time. Trent, welcome to the big time. You're following Verne Lundquist. What's the play of the day?
Well, there were only 2 NHL games last night, which I know, David, you love that so much. But the Lightning picked up a nice win. Home team, never trailed. Here was the second goal for the Bolts, courtesy of Braden Point.
Shoots again, right point. Wide right, rebound, Point behind the net. Score the wraparound! Braden Point! The Lightning go back up 2-1. As Braden Point had a chance moments earlier. It was a tough play. The puck off the end wall skipped over his stick, but that time he got it behind the net and was able to complete the wraparound.
Dave Mishkin on the call, of course. Lightning get an empty netter. They win it 3-1, and it's that time of year, guys. Anyone want to play the Lightning? Who wants to play Tampa? Nobody? Anybody?
No.
And there's your Molly Maid play of the day.
Call Molly Maid today, 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839. Give your spouse the gift of a clean house.
I think they're 8-0-1 in their last 9. They're threatening to go from wild card to finishing in 3rd in the division. Yeah, nobody wants to play that team in 3 weeks, that is for sure. More with Verne Lundquist. And then opening day in baseball in our 8 o'clock hour with the voices of the Marlins and the Rays here on Miller and Moulton.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Myers.
The waterways of Naples are a beauty to behold, and the Bayfront Inn has multiple ways for guests to enjoy the water and have some fun. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn. Something for everyone. On 5th Avenue in Naples.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Okay,
DC.
Sorry, go ahead, David.
No, it's a DC. We don't get to that, unfortunately. We've done it. We brought Verne on the 20th anniversary.
Yes.
Of Leitner hitting the shot. I also think we brought him on 2 years ago for the 30th. So we've done the Duke, Kentucky thing twice with Verne.
So coming back here, David, we do need an intro.
Okay.
Your first question is about Frank Lieber and that whole thing. So if you want to just say our remaining moments with Verne Lundquist, and then that's all you got to say, and it'll sound seamless.
Okay.
And this one's 12 minutes long, so we'll have a couple minutes at the end.
Okay.
Don't want to jinx it, but this has worked out okay. I was nervous, but
that's why I was listening in the car, just making sure I didn't have to turn around and start doing something.
Right. I turned the ringer on the phone just in case something, because I was going into the other room, and I figure, well, if something's going wrong, someone's going to call.
Yep. And that's why I brought my phone. Exactly right. Did you turn the ringer off?
Yes.
Dave, you'd be proud of me yesterday. 47-36.
Oh, wow. Well, with the way you've been playing, though, that 47 must have come out of nowhere.
Yeah, I didn't know what I was doing. I couldn't hit the ball. It was very frustrating. Then I found it.
What's your favorite club?
Wow, that's a great question. My 9-iron.
Okay.
It's my 150 club, and I love it.
That's your comfort club?
Yep.
You're pulling that one out, you know.
I feel pretty good about a 9-iron.
Good.
It's my 7-wood. I was never a good long iron player. I scooped the ball. All right. On the tee, I released and I went through the ball because I was long off the tee, but I was short with my irons because for whatever reason, I didn't release at the end and I'd scoop it. So I was never a good long iron player. But a buddy of mine a long time ago got me a 7-wood. And I hit the crap out of it.
My brothers give me a lot of shit because if it's ever a doubt, I always use the 6-iron just because 6 is my number, you know.
Yeah. My grandfather was that way with a 7-iron. If he was in a jam, he'd just grab the 7-iron.
Yeah, like I know I'm gonna get a good swing. I'm not a great golfer as it is, so I got nothing to lose.
I'm like, grandfather, you need a wedge here. He's like, I'm hitting the 7-iron. Okay.
And probably could hit it from anywhere from 75 yards to 150 and with accuracy.
Yeah. He had this short punch swing. Yeah, man.
A driver I could hit, Michael. I hit a 3-wood off the tee. If I could find any driver, Callaway, TaylorMade, it doesn't matter. If I could hit a God-blessed driver, I would be a happy camper. But it's certainly not a Titleist TP3 because I can't hit that damn thing. It looks pretty.
Canada Relief, I don't know if we ever did it with one club, but there was a 9-hole course near us in which I think we did it with 3 clubs. And the key would be, do you take a putter or not?
No. We used to have a 3-club tournament
right
at our place.
And do you learn to putt, and then do you putt with a wood, or do you putt with, pick the iron that you're going to lay flat and you're just going to keep hitting the ball in the middle and roll it?
Well, so what 3 clubs would you take? Obviously your driver.
I wouldn't take my driver because I don't hit a driver, but I would I might even take my hybrid instead of my 3-wood. I'd go 3-iron, 7-iron wedge.
Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, I spoke way too soon there. I guess you wouldn't take the driver because that's a waste of a
right.
Right.
But I know other people that play the one club and hit the driver because they can putt with it and they can hit it off the fairway well.
Okay.
Yeah, I took 7-wood, 7-iron wedge.
Here we go. David, just need a quick little intro from you.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
On a great sports day, opening day in baseball, the NCAA tournament resumes tonight with the Sweet 16. And we continue our conversation with Verne Lundquist. And the rest of the interview is really focused on he and the Masters and his experiences with it. Here is our final segment with Uncle Verne. You're in the 17th hour after Frank Lieber dies in 86, when that is unfolding. Do you remember just what you were thinking, how you felt? I mean, like, does a nervousness come over you? You've handled, obviously, the big moments as well as anybody who's ever done your craft. And I'm just wondering, what's your thought process during that? Do you make notes? Because your first huge national moment was probably Jack on Sunday in 86. Do you just remember what you were thinking?
Well, I'll try and make it really a quick story. In those days, the front of the production truck has a producer to the far left, the director in the middle, and the technical director on the far right. And in this case, the producer and the director was the same guy, this aforementioned Frank Chirkinian. And on the second row was his associate producer and the 2 other guys. But Lance Barrow, his nickname was Buddha. He's a man of rather hefty girth. And Jack had a mundane first 8 holes. He started 4 back as Sevy. He's even par through 8. He birdies the 9th. And Lance Barrow, Buddha, says to Frank, I've got Jack with a birdie on 9. And Frank stood up, turned around. He said, Buddha, we're in the storytelling business here, and Jack Nicklaus is not part of his story. Okay? Glared at him, turned around. They went away. Jack comes to 10. He birdies 10. Buddha screwed up his courage again, said, Frank, I've got him on 10 with a birdie. And Frank just turned around and glared at him. Then he birdied 11. And Buddha said one more time, Frank, he's birdied 3 in a row. Well, that time, Frank kind of went, okay. And they went back and they played 9, 10, and 11 in order. And I'll guarantee you after that, Jack Nicklaus did not take a step on Augusta National. Oh boy, that driller's back.
No, it's fine.
Without us, we documented every step of his way. So I could almost recount everything he did on the back nine, but he was chasing Ballesteros, and Jack eagled the 15th, birdied the 16th, and he stood on the tee at 17, hit his tee shot, and after he hit his tee shot, Ballesteros put it in the water at 15 and double bogeyed the hole. So all of a sudden, here's Jack at 46 years of age, and he hits his second shot 12 feet above the hole, double breaker, and I kept it simple. What I was thinking was, for God's sake, if he birdies this hole, he's going to have the lead, and he hadn't won in 2 years. And so I said to myself, just keep it simple and get out of the way. So, when he stood over the putt, I said, this is for sole possession of a lead. And then it goes in, a foot and a half away. I boldly declared maybe. Well, it was a foregone conclusion, but I hedged my bet. And then when it went in, I said, the one that gets mentioned a lot, yes, sir, with a little more emphasis than that. And I know Jack quite well. He's 6 months older than I am. And ironically, at this function we did last night, his grandson, Jack the Third, was there. And Jack the Second was on the bag with Jack Nicklaus in '86. So I got to meet, now I know 3 generations of Nicklauses. But, my professional career is forever going to be tied to Jack and Tiger Woods, because he chipped in at 16 in 2005, and I was the guy lucky enough to be on that call. And let me assure you both, there are worse things in life than to have your career impacted by guys named Jack Nicklaus and Tiger Woods.
Well, no kidding. And obviously the chip by Tiger, you couldn't, unlike Jack with a 12-foot putt that you thought might go in, there's no way you think the chip's going in. So what are you thinking when he chips that ball? What are you even what's the story you were thinking about telling before he hits that miraculous shot?
Well, Lanny Watkins was our guy in the tower at 18 at the time, and Tiger was playing with Chris DeMarco. And Tiger had pulled an 8-iron long and left and faced this impossible shot. DeMarco hit his tee shot 20 feet below the hole. So he's got a reasonable birdie chance. And Lanny and I did some interchange before Tiger stepped up to his shot. And Lanny said on the air, he's going to be lucky if he can keep this ball inside DeMarco's ball. And so that was the thought I was thinking. Can he possibly stop it from rolling by 25, 30 feet? So he picked out a spot 25 feet above the hole to the left, and he hit the perfect chip shot. Excuse me. It bounced once, it got backspin, hopped the second time, and then began that inexorable tumble down toward the hole. And when it got to the lip of the cup, it sat there for 1.8 seconds and then dropped in. And, when it did, I used the vast lexicon at my disposal and came up with a very descriptive, oh, wow. But it got a little better after that, because I said what I thought people in America were thinking. I said, have you ever seen anything in your life? Have you ever seen anything like that? Well, no, I hadn't. And I doubted that anybody at home had seen anything like that. And so that was my moment with Tiger. That and one more. They're going to run a special on Sunday at Augusta on the 2019 Tiger victory. And they sent a production crew down here, 2-3 weeks ago, to do my version or my recollections of the event. And Tiger almost holed out at 16 in 2019. And I was thunderstruck. I completely whiffed on it. I was so taken the greatness of his tee shot that I just let that. And sometimes people at home think, "Thank God he shut up." But he almost got an ace on Sunday afternoon in 2019, but it went by the hole 2 feet below, and was on the way, and he birdied the hole and then went on to win. And I've got vivid memories of that event and Tiger. I've got 2 things, guys, when we go back to Augusta here in a couple weeks. I'm going to meet, I want to introduce myself to Scotty Scheffler. I've never met him, generational thing. And then I'm going to reacquaint myself with Tiger Woods and just say thank you. And I'll see Jack as well. But I certainly know Jack much, much better than I know Tiger. And it'll be my last time. So I want to thank them both and just say, you guys had a terrific, because of your excellence, you had a terrific impact on my life. And thank you for doing that.
Well, and your golden tones certainly augmented their careers and some of their legendary accomplishments. And as a proud Texan as you are, I think you should meet Scotty Scheffler, who's also a proud Texan. So if you're going to meet somebody current on tour, Vern, that is one to meet. When, like you said, I'll be remembered for certain things. Your final year of doing the SEC on CBS, when the University of Georgia honored you during a game, the band spelled out "Yes, sir" with the exclamation point on the field. That had to hit home, right?
Oh my gosh, goosebumps. I knew it was my last game at Georgia. They were playing Tennessee, and University of Georgia is one of our favorite stops. I know the people there very well, but knowing it was going to be the last one, they said the PA announcer over the system would ask me to step to the front of the broadcast booth, and they on the jumbotron they played a video tribute. The governor of the state, Jack, Jim Nance, and Kirby Smart, and then the PA announcer said, "Please direct your attention down on the field." And here were 425 members of the Red and Black Band having spelled out "Yes, sir." And the PA announcer said, "Let's do a collective goodbye." And 93,000 people in unison yelled out, "Yes, sir." Well, I thought I was going to start crying. I mean, just thinking about it, I still get chills. That was arranged by a dear, dear, dear friend of mine, and he and his wife, Lauren Smith, and his wife, Myrna. And we've known them for 40 years. And he is the official historian of the University of Georgia Athletic Department. And matter of fact, when we go back to Augusta, we have forget Jim Nance. Ours is a tradition unlike any other. We on Tuesday night, and we're going to do it again this year. It'll be Lauren and Myrna, Nancy and me, and a member of Augusta and his wife, Bill and Lynn Griffin, who are just wonderful people. And so we're going to have, and it's the night of the Trophy Club. It's in the Trophy Club. It is the night of the Champions Dinner. So if no other time, we'll linger after we finish until the champions come down. And I'll thank Jack, and Ben Crenshaw hosts, who's a dear friend of ours. And I'll see Tiger then if I don't see him before. So I'll have a chance to say goodbye to him and thank you. Yeah.
Well, Vern, thank you. We've enjoyed from afar listening to you. Obviously, it's one of the great gifts in my life to have met you and gotten to know you. Safe travels, you and Nancy, and soak up everything that is your 40th and final Masters. Well done, sir.
David, you are a dear friend. And Mark, I hope to get to meet you someday.
Vern, thank you so much for doing this. We really appreciate it. You're the best.
Thank you, guys.
The legendary Verne Lundquist taking time out 2 weeks before his final Masters to join us here on Miller and Moulton. And so we had the luxury after the show yesterday of a lengthy interview. Hope you enjoyed it. We've never done that in our third act, played an interview over multiple parts, but we thought
But it should be something that we do more often. I really like that.
Well, you had a chance to get in the car and go get breakfast.
Darn right I did. Introduced Trent to Cuban food this morning.
Oh, my goodness. Mark brought me back some breakfast. It was great. What an interview, though. Seriously, you guys. Pros work. Verne, how awesome was that?
Well, please, there's so much stuff we didn't even get to. By the way, today, it was 32 years ago today, Leitner hit the shot. Verne did the game.
What game didn't he do?
He did so many big ones. It's amazing because he was never a quote-unquote number one. Verne was always the number two. You know, he was behind Summerall, and then he was behind Nance. I mean, you name it, all the sports. I mean, and yet so many. He has more iconic calls, Mark, than I think a lot of the other guys who were one step ahead of him on the pecking order have combined. Nance has a win for the ages. I don't know if Nance has another call that most of us as sports fans really remember. Verne's got multiple Masters calls that we remember.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, not bad. That'll play and has for nearly 40 years. But our time with Verne Lundquist, we will transition next hour. It is opening day of the baseball season. Canceled in Philly and in Queens. Braves, Phillies, Mets, Brewers postponed by rain. But 26 other teams in action today, opening day of baseball. And we got the voices of the Marlins and the Rays coming up next hour live.
And we'll talk a little Sweet 16 as the basketball heats up this evening as we are back in action in the NCAA tournament with 4 games tonight, 4 games tomorrow.
Our poll question, Caitlin Clark offered $5 million from Ice Cube in the Big 3 League. If you're Caitlin, do you do it? There is a downside. Playing against men with the guy's ball, it's bigger. May not look good. But then again,
they're going to guard you and guard you hard because they're not going to want you to succeed.
But then again, it's $5 million. So if you're Caitlin, what do you do? That's our poll question. That Mark Miller, the David Moulton, and Miller_Moulton on X. How about Kyle Sielaff, voice of the Marlins? Opening day of baseball. Let's go.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When choosing something of high value and personal significance, such as a diamond, you want to shop with the best. And the mall is not the place to be. Here are my friends, Jason and Todd, with the Diamond District. Take a stroll in the mall, pop into a few jewelry stores, and you'll soon discover you're in the wrong place. Rings begin to look all alike. You're not finding GIA-certified diamonds. You quickly realize you know more than a salesperson helping you, and all the same financing gets pushed on you.
Visit Jason and me, and you'll find America's top bridal designers dealing exclusively with the Diamond District. You'll find the largest selection of GIA-certified diamonds, all priced 8 to 10% over cost. You'll find educated sales consultants who have many years' experience and are not paid commissions.
And you'll find Todd and me in the store nearly every day, wanting to shake your hand and welcome you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, Have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Well, thanks for the kind words about the interview. We felt good about it. Glad you liked it.
I think what I'm going to do, too, if it's okay with you guys, I'm just going to post the interview without, like, for that last hour, I'm just going to post the full interview without breaks.
Yeah.
So it won't have the play of the day or anything, but it'll just be, you know.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I just think that'll be
Yes.
smoother.
Just make sure you spell his name right.
Oh, I got it.
And I'm not being a jerk.
No, I
It's,
understand.
It's not Bob Smith. No.
And I would say not just post it that way. This is one that you need to maybe cut up
Yeah, and
two
title
things
it
and put that out on X.
for sure.
Did Jeff ever get back to you, by the way?
No. I sent that email Monday. Was that Monday? I'll follow up today.
By the way, Adam just went y'all. I recommend y'all.
It's all right. He called me Marie a second ago.
Yeah, I always
I caught that too.
I always, it's damn typos, autocorrects, voice, the thing. I just assume it's always going to be. My wife hasn't sent me a text with proper spelling in 13 years. So. I could watch that Kentucky Duke game any day. God, that was good. Leitner steps on the Kentucky player's chest, gets the tee. Len Elmore tries to say, I don't know if he meant it, and Verne, who never cuts in on his analysts, ever, cuts right in and said, oh, yes, he did. Oh, yes, he did. By the way, I don't know if you've noticed Verne has good friends, dear friends, and dear friends. Right?
Not often that you get an Edith and what was the last name when he starts going through the names of the wives?
Right.
I mean, he has a Nancy, but there was an Edith, and the last one was like the Augusta pair. There was a
right. Something Griffith. Yeah. Bob and somebody Griffith. Helen?
No, it wasn't Helen. She looks like a Helen.
So
Merle, something like that. There was
So my mom's happy that I'm a dear friend. I go, yeah, I'm like right in the middle. Good friend, dear friend.
Well, and I laugh because obviously Verne would never remember. I met Verne once.
Yeah, right.
I rode in the car with him.
Right.
Cassio was with you. Somehow I end up with Verne, Nancy, Verne spotter, Verne stats guy, and me.
Right.
Are in a car.
And it was me and Cassio in the back seat with Wolfson in the middle.
Yeah.
And Danielson in the front seat, and we were being driven.
Right. And Verne's, I've got my mouth shut. I'm afraid to talk. And come on, this is me here. And I'm just like, and we're talking about Florida State coming up. I go, that's going to be Tebow's last game. And Verne just stopped and then told a story about crashing a car in Atlanta.
listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
And just like that, it's our third and final hour along the network of Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. The Diamond District bonus hour awaits in the 239, 1 hour from now. We'll check in on the Rays and their opener coming up in a little more than 35 minutes with Andy Freed, their longtime play-by-play voice. Well, Kyle Sielaff's been doing Marlins games for a dozen years. He's the play-by-play voice of the Miami Marlins. You can follow Kyle on X at Kyle_Sielaff, Sielaff. Kyle, it's David and Mark. Happy opening day.
Happy opening day, guys. It's great to join you. I love coming on the show, and it is my favorite day of the year. It should be a national holiday.
Well, then not in March, though. Don't you think this is a week early?
What's that? Say that again, guys. I'm sorry.
Don't you think, though, that this is a week early? Don't we need to get back to starting in April? No?
Give me baseball as soon as possible.
Okay.
I think I'm okay.
Fair enough, Kyle. All right. Baseball's going. How are the Marlins going to produce runs this year? I mean, that is the big question for this baseball team, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think it's a fair question. And I think you have to start with they have a full season of Josh Bell and Jake Berger, who they acquired at the deadline last year. Both of them were unbelievable for the Marlins, which was incredible. They acquired a former batting champion and an all-star in Tim Anderson to play shortstop. If he produces, he will be the best shortstop in Miami since Hanley Ramirez some dozen years ago or whatever it's been now. Now, the big question mark in the X factor, because as the team goes, he goes a little bit at times, is Jazz Chisholm Jr. He's got an opportunity to just be so darn special, but he's got to stay on the field. I think I saw he's played like 45% of the team's games the last 2 years or something. So, look, the pundits aren't going to believe in this team. They didn't last year. I think this team is better on opening day this year than they were last year. I'm excited to watch them. I think they have some more depth in the system to sustain some injuries. I might be terribly wrong 6 months from now. I hope I'm not, but I'm super excited about this season.
Don't you think Chisholm and Anderson combined, and I'm trying to figure out what would be the stat. Would it be games played? Like if I threw a number out there between the two of them, I need 275 games played. I need at least $130 from Jazz, and I need $145 from Anderson. Would that be the stat that you think? Because to me, I need games played from those two.
No doubt. You are absolutely correct. There's no doubt about it. They have to stay on the field. Correct. It goes past production, but they have to stay on the field and to even give yourself a fighting chance to have any production at all. So I think that is a very fair and reasonable number for both of those players. There's no doubt. I'm on board with that.
Last year, the Marlins were incredible. Not good. They were incredible in one-run games. That's a stat that it seems impossible to replicate, but is it something that can it go from one season to the next where a team can be really good in close games and keep that up?
I think so within reason. I don't think they'll be as good in one-run games this year, but I also tell people, because that's been a big storyline, they may not have to be, because if your offense is inherently better, you might not be stuck in a situation where you're in one-run games seemingly every single night. So I think that is a little bit twofold. They may not, maybe they can win some games by 2 or 3, right? Like, I think that's a very real thing. So I don't suspect they're going to be as good in one-run games. I think that's only natural in the sport. But they may end up being better in that regard,
Remember, the Marlins have made the playoffs 2 of the last 4 seasons. He's Kyle Sielaff. He's the radio play-by-play voice of the Miami Marlins. Follow Kyle on X at Kyle_Sielaff, Sielaff. Let's talk injuries. All right. How do they enter the season from a health standpoint? Who is not in the lineup or the rotation or the bullpen right now who they were counting on?
Well, you have to start with Sandy Alcantara, who to your point, they weren't counting on him because they knew he was going to be out. But obviously, Sandy is a big blow to the team. Actually, he underwent season-ending Tommy John surgery. The other one is the young kid, Yuri Perez, who jumped onto the scene, proved to be one of the best young right-handers in baseball last season. He has elbow inflammation. That generally does not end well. Let's call a spade a spade. But at this juncture, surgery has not been recommended. Surgery being Tommy John surgery. He has been throwing pain-free. That is a much better diagnosis than 2.5 weeks ago when it seemed pretty bleak. That is always subject to change, but I hope that continues to trend in the right direction. They will also be without Braxton Garrett and Edward Cabrera opening the season in the rotation, but those guys are not far behind. Cabrera has a little bit of shoulder soreness. Braxton Garrett had a left shoulder impingement. For Cabrera, it's a right shoulder impingement, but Garrett is working his way back fairly quickly. They're just going to slow play that a little bit. So they've got 4 guys that were supposed to be in that starting rotation that are not there, but they also love their rotation. They're going to start the season with 4 lefties in a rotation. Only 4 times in Major League history have 4 starting pitchers in a rotation. In Major League history, made 20 starts in a season, 4 lefties. So they have a chance to make a little history this year.
Well, and Kyle, I didn't realize until I was getting ready to talk to you today, their ERA last year, they were 16th in the league, and we thought their pitching was so spectacular. There's actually room for improvement from this pitching staff from last year to this year, isn't there?
Yeah, I think so. And look, the one thing I would offer too, and truthfully, it can always go backwards or forwards, and it's the sport, and you always expect guys within reason that are a touch on the younger side to get better. But these guys are so young. So like, obviously, if Yuri comes back, I mean, that kid could get better for the next 5 years. Jesus Luzardo is just starting to reach the surface of what he's capable of. Braxton Garrett and Edward Cabrera are super young. Max Meyer, who was the top overall pick for the Marlins a couple of seasons ago out of Minnesota, will start the year in the rotation. He's coming off Tommy John surgery. It definitely stands to reason that, in particular, the starting rotation, in terms of that ERA, could be even better than they were at times last year. So, yeah, that's why I'm hopeful. There's a lot of people that aren't going to believe in this team. And maybe it doesn't go right, and maybe they sustain injuries that they just, they can't move on without. But they've got a good offense. It's better than it was on opening day last year. They've got some really good starting pitching. So that for me is what's so darn exciting. And they have an amazing manager.
Well, you took me to where I wanted to go. Skip Schumacher last year did a terrific job, award winner. And it seems as if the clubhouse, is a really good one, which has not been said about the Marlins a lot in the last 10 years.
I think that's fair. I remember joining you guys throughout the course of last summer and last season. I think I said multiple times, Skip Schumacher walked in here and said, you're going to play for one another. We're not going to have selfish players. You will not be selfish teammates. And most importantly, if people are going to spend their hard-earned dollar to watch you guys play, we're not going to go out there and embarrass ourselves or this community and the people that have loved this team for a really long time. And that resonated. That was real. That was no BS. And the guys, truthfully, from the very first day of spring training last year, not even opening day, really took that to heart. And I'll tell you what, I hope I can say it again this year. I've never been around a better group of men than I was last year. I mean, they were so darn incredible to be around. They're a great group of guys. They're like the easiest group of guys you could ever root for. So I'm super hopeful, guys. I'm super hopeful, and I love baseball, and I'm so happy opening day is here. And I tweeted it out earlier today. We can roll the dice this morning and see what happens over the course of the next 6 months.
Well, we can feel your giddiness and your enthusiasm, Kyle, and that's 8 hours before you go on the air. All right, final point. We got an all-you-can-eat section. We're allowing musical instruments. I mean, is the ballpark going to be different this year?
I certainly hope so. And whenever you guys want to come down, please reach out to me. I'd love to take care of you and have a great night at the ballpark. But, the one thing that they're dying to do, and they will always try to replicate, is what we've seen during most recently the Caribbean Series and the World Baseball Classics over the years, where people come out and root for their countries. And I know that's a little bit different than rooting for your hometown team. There's a lot of transplants in Florida. There's a lot over here in Miami, obviously. And they come from different backgrounds and they root for different teams, but they just want people to come have fun. Just genuinely come enjoy yourself for a night of baseball. And if you will come from a Latin community where you're used to, in your home country, banging on instruments, bring them out. have fun with this. Like that truly is like at the root of the whole thing. Just come out and enjoy yourself for a night. And yeah, $52, all you can eat and include the game ticket. Sign me up. That sounds pretty darn good to me. I don't need that. I'm trying to lose weight. In fact, as soon as I get off this phone, I'm going to hop on the Peloton because I've been going in the wrong direction, gentlemen. But the all-you-can-eat deal is spectacular.
He's going to work out. That's what he throws at us. This interview was going along swimmingly, and two fat guys now go, oh, now he's going to work out on the Peloton.
Exactly.
Well, three fat guys. I got to get it together.
All right. Now you made us feel a little better. Okay. We will take you up on that offer, Kyle, and hopefully you'll answer the phone again when we call you in the coming weeks. Have a great call today. Congratulations. Enjoy year, 12 with the Marlins? Congratulations.
Year 12. Crazy, crazy, crazy.
That's awesome. Congratulations. Have a great call. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, guys. I'll chat with you soon.
Kyle Sielaff, radio voice of the Miami Marlins. Opening day, they host the Pirates.
Who David doesn't really think is going to be that bad this year.
No, I don't.
Which of these teams will be 500? Pirates or Marlins?
Ooh.
Pirates.
No. They're both, but I'll tell you, both over-unders are right around 78.
Okay.
So Vegas is expecting these teams to be very similar.
By the way, we bet the Reds over, and they've suffered 2 major injuries since we placed that bet. Suffered another one yesterday. Killing me, Whitey. They're killing me.
Sorry, we made up for it. I bet the Lightning without asking you yesterday.
Yes. No, we like that.
I know.
We did.
That's that's like a safe net for you guys, isn't it? Just bet the Lightning.
Well, it was back-to-back for Boston. That was
Right.
the bigger thing there was Boston that just got done playing a very emotional game against Florida, coming from behind late. It was a physical game, and I didn't think they could do that back-to-back. And Tampa,
Yeah, that's a good call. I'm just
was a little better last night.
over the course of Miller and Moulton. I mean, how many cups of the Lightning won? 3?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you kind of come to understand that's a safe bet. Fall back on it every now and then.
We'll head to Tampa, St. Pete to be exact. Andy Freed, radio play-by-play voice of the Rays, will join us before their opening day at home against the Jays. Our poll question, Caitlin Clark offered $5 million to play in the Big 3 League. Should she do it? Yeah, take the money. No, man, there's a downside. The Sweet 16. We'll talk it next, and then Andy Freed in 25 minutes on Miller and Moulton.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other, with a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Hell yes.
Well, I was just wondering. I mean, that's sure. I mean,
It's pretty
everything.
timeless because he's not predicting anybody. He's not predicting anything.
So Paula thinks that the other wife's name was Myrna.
Myrna, that's right.
There are friends. And just remember with Verne, there are friends. There are good friends. There are dear friends, and there are dear friends.
I would love to just do an interview with Verne on his rental car experiences with CBS over the years.
Well, oh my goodness, the master stories about how many rental cars that Summerall and the gang used to crash driving drunk, quite frankly. Apparently, Summerall wrecked 2 rental cars on back-to-back nights. Well, TJ, the reason is that if they release him, they have to pay off the entire contract. So what they're waiting and hoping for at this point is that eventually he gets suspended by baseball forever or goes to jail, which voids the contract, and then they don't have to pay him. So he's, suspended with pay type deal or on leave with paid leave, but the Rays are just waiting for it to play itself out. So, but if they released him now, that contract becomes fully guaranteed, or they would then have to sue after the fact to try to invalidate it. Now, I don't look at it that way, TJ. I just think it's kind of a procedural thing. They're going to have to just eat a few bucks till they eventually save $170 million.
Hey, David, sorry, I was on the phone with my grandma just now, but I already put it in the best of. It will absolutely, we'll have it there. So my grandma, I want to watch, they're Tigers fans. So, first game today at 4:00. Decent, I can go home, take a nap, then go watch the Tigers with my grandparents. So I'm like trying to make the plan.
Man, the uncle, he is just this ultimate.
And then parents.
I got to get the grandparents' time in now because they're snowbirds. I mean, they leave in 2 weeks.
Okay.
So I got to get that in. But
do you get to stay in their place or do they rent it out?
They have an RV.
Oh.
So they drive it back, so it's you drive it down for 6 months, drive it back. But
no, I understand the concept of an RV, but thanks.
3, 2, 1.
You see what they do there is they get in, somebody gets in the front, big steering wheel, all right? Then they park it. And then when they feel like leaving, they put it in drive and they go back home.
You can actually drive those things. I don't know if you're aware of that.
No, listen, I got to tell you this because this is great. So to watch the Tigers, we're going to stream it, right? So I was just asking the questions. I'm like, do you guys have a decent internet connection? Like, do we have to use a hotspot? And then she goes, we don't really have good internet. We're going to have to use a hotspot. And then I go, well, we could call an audible and maybe, and she goes, oh, what's that? She's thinking, I said, call an audible. And she goes, what's an audible? She's thinking that's like a
new cable company.
Internet service.
Right.
Yeah. I'm like, oh no, I'm sorry. That's a football term.
You can go out somewhere.
Yeah, I think that's what we're going to end up doing.
Also, new voices for the Tigers, right? Jason Benetti?
Yeah. Yes. I am fired up for that too. Still got Kurt Gibson and Craig Monroe as the color guys, but
right.
I love Gibby. A lot of people think he's really boring. I think he's funny.
Adam picked up his Atlanta Braves peanuts at Publix yesterday. Wow. Here we go.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes past the hour. Andy Freed, longtime radio voice. I think this is year 20 for Andy. This will be his 20th season, I believe, with the Rays. Andy Freed to join us in a little more than 15 minutes' time. It is opening day in Major League Baseball, but Sweet 16 back at it tonight. I have to admit, on paper, Friday's slate looks a little sexier than Thursday night's slate. Early games tonight. Arizona, 7.5-point favorite over Clemson. That's a 2 against a 6 out west. Then meanwhile in the East region, 1 against 5, a rematch of the national title game. UConn an 11.5-point favorite over the
All right.
Aztecs.
Would you lay it?
I would, because I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, haven't they won 8 consecutive tournament games by double digits?
You are correct, sir.
Yeah, they have.
So also San Diego State can struggle offensively. Well, nobody can put the vice grips on you like UConn defensively. I mean, I don't know if San Diego State's going to get above 55 in this game. And I think UConn scores 70 on everybody. So, yeah, I would lay it.
There you go. Now we've got a bet for tonight. Now are you more interested in San Diego State, UConn? Because we're going to put money on UConn. See what I did there, David? I got you more fired up about a game than you were.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I have to admit, I'm interested in both nightcaps. This could be a late night.
Yeah, there is a nap in my day coming. This is a big nap day because there's no way I'm going to be able to make the Illinois-Iowa State game because it's not going to tip at 10:09. It's going to tip at 10:39. I mean, you can write that down right now.
So the late games, 9:40-ish, Bama, North Carolina. Carolina, 4.5-point favorite. I think I'm more interested in the over-under, which is 173.5. Hello. I mean, they're basically saying like 89-84 Carolina. How fun will this be if that's what we get? Oh, man. And then the late game, Illinois, which wants to play the Alabama, North Carolina style of ball, and Iowa State, and of course we know,
would rather take the air out of the basketball and play that way.
This is probably the most fascinating matchup of the night, of the 4 games. Maybe you could argue of the Sweet 16, because like David just said, you got Illinois, fast and loose. They like to chuck them up. They got Terrence Shannon Jr., probably the best player in that whole region of the bracket. And then Iowa State, who everyone slept on, who could have been a 1 seed, ends up getting the 2. I mean, this is a huge game.
Second best defensive team in the country, Iowa State.
Awesome. And this matchup is just, it could go one of two ways. I mean, it could be like
to me, which team do you think has a better shot at UConn? Because the winner of that game is going to play UConn. I mean, and Josh Pastner was on our show a couple days ago, and he is fascinated. Even though he picked Iowa State to come out of the region, he said in a 1-game scenario against UConn, he would be fascinated by Illinois. Because he basically thinks Illinois is a bucket against everybody. And could Illinois' offense put pressure on UConn that they don't normally face? And see, I think that UConn would just, in an ugly game, wear out Iowa State and eventually win by 12-15. Where I think the Illinois game could be one of two ways. This could be very entertaining and single-digit game, or UConn, because Illinois doesn't play defense, they just beat them by 30.
Well, last year's national championship game, that was kind of the tail of the tape because San Diego State was a defensive athletic team. They got ran off the floor. So for that reason, David, I would lean Illinois. I think Illinois would give UConn a better shot. But I agree with you. UConn's coming out no matter what.
Iowa State, a 1.5-point favorite in the nightcap tonight. Clemson, Arizona, Bama, Carolina are on CBS. The UConn, San Diego State, Illinois, Iowa State games are on TBS/True TV. I guess it's a bit of a Turner simulcast.
One little nugget, and usually this is Trent's spot to find the nuggets. Iowa State's one of the worst free throw shooting teams in the country. They're 276th in the nation shooting free throws. In a tight game, just pay attention to that.
Boy, that's interesting. A team that was so good in an excellent conference, the Big 12, and then won the Big 12 title. You would think it would be the other way, that they'd be a good free throw shooting team.
Less than 70% for the year from the stripe. So just a little nugget for you if that game's close at the end.
That's a good nugget because you're right. I mean, typically the Sweet 16, the games are tighter, more pressure. You rely on your upperclassmen a bit more. Got to put your best shooters at the line.
And neither team turns the ball over much in Iowa State and Illinois. But Iowa State, because of that defense, forces a lot of turnovers. They get a lot of steals. So can Illinois take care of the basketball tonight?
And weather the storm if they do turn it over a couple times in a row and Iowa State goes on a bit of a run, if you will. I mean, Illinois can get erratic on offense. They got to keep it together.
Do we give Clemson a shot against Arizona?
No, I don't. I don't know.
All the pressure's on Zona. I mean, Clemson's playing this game with house money, so to speak. They shouldn't even be here. They're a 6 seed. Pressure's on Zona with the carrot dangling. They're playing this region in LA, and they know if they get out of this region, they're going home to Phoenix. I mean, this is the situation Houston was in last year. And Miami said, sorry, we'll take it from here.
I don't think it will. I just think they're a better team than Clemson. Clemson's played over their skis so far. That game against Baylor, they were terrific. This is usually where that ends.
Mm-hmm. I agree. The days off, the run doesn't continue. We'll talk about it tomorrow. But, now this is the thing. You credit NC State because they had the 5-5 and they managed to keep on keeping on with some time off in between. Now with some more time off, can they keep on keeping on? But we'll get to that tomorrow.
But I'll take all the favorites except for the last game. Give me Illinois against Iowa State.
Mark likes the high seeds.
Except for Illinois.
Except Illinois.
Offensively, I think they're going to have enough to get past Iowa State. I just think that they can score enough against a team that primarily works on their defense and does not score the basketball nearly at the pace that Illinois does. I like the Illini in that game.
If I had to lay a bet tonight, by the way, I can't trust Illinois. And I know they won the Big Ten title, and I should be able to trust them. And I've seen them a lot this year, and I love their coach. Okay, he's an outlaw. I love him. All right, but I don't know if I can trust them. They don't play D. It's like Alabama. I can't trust Alabama. They couldn't stop us in a pickup game. I mean, are we sure they're going to beat North Carolina when they can't get stops?
Well, David, you are onto something with Illinois because I didn't trust them going into the tournament. I had them losing second round to BYU. Obviously, we know what happened to BYU. But Illinois, their track record, too, if that means anything, you can't trust them. However, through these two games, they've looked really good.
Well, and not only that, they looked good in the Big Ten tournament, too. They won the Big Ten tournament. They're on a roll here. And their A game is clearly top 10 team in the country. Clearly top 10 team in the country. So I love Carolina tonight for the record. I really do. I think Carolina is more complete than Alabama. It's only 4. I would lay the 4.5 with Carolina for what it's worth.
Do you think the Tar Heels are going to try to slow them down?
No.
No. Game, or
no.
North Carolina is never in fit except when Dean Smith went 4 corners. Okay. North Carolina doesn't slow down, period. No.
I don't disagree. I just, they got the big guy.
No.
Alabama loves to play fast. I don't know if you want to try to beat them at their own game.
And they'll just say, this is great. This is how we practice. Let's go.
And remember, talking about Illinois playing well, which is right, it's Morehead State and Duquesne. Duquesne couldn't score. I mean, they were a bad offensive team that happened to have a great game against BYU, but they're not a quality team. I mean, they are really stepping up in class tonight based on whom they've played thus far in the tournament. So that's to me the biggest test is you're stepping up in weight class tonight going against Iowa State.
I'm rooting for Illinois. I'm picking Iowa State. Miller and Moulton. Andy Freed, longtime radio voice of the Tampa Bay Rays. Rays hosting the Jays opening day. Andy's next.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Florida.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
If you're in love and thinking about a diamond, you'll want to hear from my friends Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When purchasing a diamond, you deserve a relaxed, stress-free, and educational experience. You want to have a good time and feel comfortable. You want selection, quality, and value.
At the Diamond District, you'll get it all. With our team of non-commissioned diamond advisors, no one's in a rush. We care only about you and making sure your needs and wishes are fulfilled.
You'll be wowed by our selection of GIA certified diamonds, stunning diamond bracelets, earrings, pre-owned Rolex watches, exotic ruby, sapphire, emerald, and tanzanite jewelry. There's something for everyone at the Diamond District, and all at the lowest prices anywhere.
Jason and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day. We look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
The Verne Lundquist interview already has as many downloads as the first hour.
Thank you, Sonny. Appreciate that. Yeah, this is a good little show today.
This plays.
This will work. Sonny, the key in the NIT is to get the team to show up for the first game. Okay, because if they want to play the first game, obviously if you keep winning, everybody's like, well, let's keep going. But you just never know who's actually interested in playing in it.
I'm just laughing at the green Draymond ejection after the commercial he does. Sometimes then you make a good decision and sometimes you make a questionable decision.
Right, like he had to know when he filmed that commercial that was going to get used in memes and stuff for the rest of his career. A questionable decision. Do the Tigers come to Tampa this year?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Everybody goes everywhere. That's part of baseball's damn scheduling. That's why they reduced the
April. It's a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. All of them are 7:00 starts. Damn. I was hoping that Wednesday'd be a 1:00. We could bust out of here after work and go right to the game.
Oh, that would have been awesome. When is it, by the way?
22nd, 23rd, 24th of April.
That's a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, right?
It is.
I am fired up for the Tigers. Can't
the
wait.
Mets are there the first weekend of May, a Friday through Sunday deal.
Ooh, and a 1:40 Sunday game, too.
Yeah,
Dave, what's the closest MLB park to you?
It's the Rays.
Okay.
Now, I will say St. Pete's an extra half hour, but I mean, it's a good 3.5, a good 3.5 door to door.
How far is Atlanta from you?
5.
Oh.
And where the Braves ballpark is, it'd be almost 6. 5.5 at least. Yeah, I can get to a Braves game in probably the same amount of time I can get to a Marlins game. But yeah, I'm thinking about buying tickets for Saturday and Sunday.
That's a good call.
Because isn't the Saturday game a night game?
Yes.
And doing Saturday night and then coming back doing Sunday and driving back.
Staying with the Grants?
Maybe I may just get a room. I've got some points. But
Would you bring anybody, or would you just go by yourself?
Well, I don't have any friends, so I mean,
bring your wife. She can stay in the room, not go to the games.
No, no interest. No interest.
Man, there are not a lot there. David, I think you have Andrew's Twitter handle wrong.
Okay.
I had Andy B. Freed, I believe. There's
yes,
no
you are correct.
Okay.
Okay, we got him. And here we go in 3, 2, 1.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
Opening day, Major League Baseball. We heard from Kyle Sielaff, the radio voice of the Marlins, at the top of the hour. And that's a pleasure to be joined by Andrew Freed. Is this 20 years, Andy, calling the Rays?
The big 2-0. It is finally arrived. You blink your eyes and it's amazing how fast time goes,
Do you remember 20 years ago? I mean, you were getting the call to the show, so to speak, in broadcasting terms, but do you remember
Very
20 years
clearly, I
ago?
remember that on February 1st, 2005, and then opening day came not long thereafter. Rays, in fact, they played the Blue Jays that day also, and it was Roy Halladay against DeJuan Brazelton, and again, how times have changed.
Well, the expectations for the Rays are probably different today than they were 20 years ago, because now this team is a ball club that has expectations, has postseason expectations. Can they fulfill those expectations this year?
Yeah, I think the change has come where it's not just postseason expectations, but I think the organization is really trying to figure out how to go farther in postseason. This team has made 2 World Series, and that is not to be overlooked in 08 and 20. But in the other years, every other year, the Rays have been bounced in the first round. So I think now the expectation is postseason, and the want-to is to try to figure out how to win this thing. You're talking about the Marlins. I mean, the Marlins had never won a division title, but they won 2 World Series, in 97 and 03. So they figured out the last part. The Rays had figured out the first part. Now they got to figure out how to win the last game of the year.
Andrew Freed, longtime voice of the Rays on the radio. You can follow Andy on X at Andy, the letter B, Freed, F-R-E-E-D, Andy B. Freed. All right. Well, first off, when the organization sat down after last season, after getting bounced out of the playoffs early again, do you think they looked at one another and said, if we can improve one thing, what would it be?
Well, I don't know if that's the way the Rays look at it. I mean, I think they're always looking to improve all year long. It's not just at the end of seasons. I think it's something that they're constantly working on, and they have such a different bag of tools to deal with than the other teams in the division. I mean, the other teams have their own TV networks and they have many more resources to bring in. So I think the Rays are always looking to upgrade, and in order to do that, they've got to do it from within more than free agency. So I think that's something that even as the season goes along, as the saying goes, there's always one eye on the present, one eye on the future. They kind of can't fall behind. Because if they do, it's almost impossible to win the division. What they've done is they've broken the mold. You talk about 20 years ago, it would have been a joke to suggest that the Rays could even finish maybe even higher than last place. They had only done that once the year before. So as I looked at this year, I think they were looking how to cover for the pitching that is on the injured list. You look at last year's starting rotation, and there's only one guy left, and it's the guy that pitches today, Zach Eflin. Glass now's been traded. Springs is on the injured list. We hope to have him back in July. Rasmussen's on the injured list. Hope to have him back in August. And McClanahan is out for the year. So there's only Zach Eflin left. So it's not a coincidence that he pitches opening day today. I think they're constantly trying to figure out how to refresh this pitching staff because they have been besieged so much by injury.
99 wins a year ago. Is the pitching? It's tough to say the pitching can be better than it was last year just because of all the reasons you pointed out and all the guys that are injured. It might be in August and September when everyone's back. Is the lineup better than it was opening day a year ago?
That would be hard to say. I mean, I especially because of who's already injured this year. Josh Lowe is on the injured list. First, he had a hip issue, and now he's got an oblique, and they're hoping to have him back within a couple of weeks, but that's certainly in doubt. He's not doing baseball activities yet. You can't really rush things like obliques because the more you rush it, the more risk you have that it could really blow out, and then you're missing a season. Jonathan Aranda, who had a great spring training offensively, it looked like he'd made the adjustments that he needed to make a year ago, especially at fastballs up in the zone. He broke his finger not long ago. It was just last week, or was it a week and a half ago, and he had to have a pin put in, and he's out 4 to 6 weeks. So I don't think they have their whole crew right now. A year ago, the Rays were very healthy at the beginning of the year, and they got off to that 13-0 start, and every day they were scoring like 8 runs. It was such a luxury to start the year. This year, I think they're going to have to be a little more creative. Yandy Diaz is coming off the batting title. Randy Rosarena is coming off of 2020. They desperately need those guys. And I think they're going to need some speed also. I really do. I think that's going to be a hallmark of this year's team. I think you're going to see them take risks on the bases. I think no team went better from first to third on hits last year. They're going to have to do a lot of that and just kind of be a little bit more creative. And then you have guys like Isaac Paredes. Can he return with 31 home runs again? I hope so. But we'll see. I don't have a great feel for the offense yet. Because I haven't seen it all put together. In spring training, you see it in different parts, and you don't see it all together for 9 innings. But I think there's potential there, but we'll just have to see how it plays out. It's a different feel offensively than it was a year ago.
Andy, obviously the Rays have a ton of talent. I mean, people have envious in the last couple of years of what the Rays had in Double and Triple A, just making it through their system. But now a lot of those guys are going to be called on at the start this year. So does that mean that the Rays have a ton of talent, but maybe more question marks to start the year than they've had recently?
Definitely. I think that's a fair statement. I think there's so many new faces. Coming into last year, we pretty much knew everybody. There wasn't that much new to last year's team, maybe with the exception of Siri as a regular everyday player. This year, there's Richie Palacio, and there's Ahmed Rosario, and Rene Pinto is the main catcher, and he's thrust into a role that he's never had at the big league level before. And they just signed a guy, Ben Rortvedt, or just traded for him to be their backup catcher. I've never met Ben Rortvedt before. I mean, he hasn't even had a moment in a Rays uniform yet, and he's going to be announced along the baselines as the backup catcher this year. So I think there's definitely questions. I think the team played with a very good energy in spring training, especially a guy like Richie Palacios, who led the team in hits in spring training. I'm excited to see him. I think he's a guy that the fans are really going to like. They got a new shortstop in Jose Caballero, so can he be an everyday player at shortstop? I think that's one of the questions coming in. Signs indicate that he can, but you never know until until the bell rings, and it will in just a couple of hours. So I think there's questions offensively and defensively even for this Rays team. That's why I think it's so important for guys like Yandy Diaz and Brandon Lau and Jose Siri and Randy Arozarena, the everyday core guys, to have solid years.
You talked about having to be a little bit more creative offensively. Does that mean they run a little bit more this year, Andy?
Oh, I think so. I think that's going to be a very, very big part of the Rays this year. And I think there's that fine line between being aggressive and being foolish, risky and taking chances. I mean, you really have to know the game and the game situation. But I think overall they're going to push the envelope this year. I think they have to. I don't think they can sit back and wait for the home run. I think you're going to see a lot of aggressiveness, but that is incumbent upon the players to do, too, to know the situation. Randy Arozarena, 20 homers, 20 steals each of the last couple of years. They really need that and maybe up that a little bit. I think a lot of this team is going to hinge around Jose Siri. Can he get on base more? That's a guy that has tremendous speed and says he wants to steal 30 bases. Well, last year his on-base percentage was .267. He's not getting on base enough to steal all those bags. So I think for him to be able to accept the walk and maybe structure his strike zone so that he doesn't chase so much and the strikeouts can go down, I think that will play a large role in this team. And then hopefully getting Josh Lowe back. I think that'll be big also, right in the middle of the lineup, coming off a really, really good season last year. But there you got to be patient. And I think they need to hold their own in the beginning and hope that when everybody comes back, not only will they start to click a little more offensively, but then they'll get some key pitchers back, hopefully after the All-Star break.
Andy Fried, today is the beginning of year 20 for him as the radio play-by-play voice of the Tampa Bay Rays. Follow Andy on X at Andy, the letter B, Fried, F-R-E-E-D, Andy B. Fried. It's also beginning of year 10 for Kevin Cash as manager of the Rays. Tell us something that we don't know about Cash.
Well, when Kevin joined the Rays, I mean, he was the youngest manager going in the game, and he had never had any managerial experience. Now, as of this opening day, not only is he about to pass Joe Madden this year for wins, I think it's like 16 or 17 wins he needs to have the most wins ever as a manager. Kevin Cash is the current longest tenured manager with a team in all of Major League Baseball. How about that?
Wow.
Isn't that something? That blows me away.
That kind of snuck up on us, didn't it?
It sure did. He's only 45 years old. I asked him last year, Dusty Baker and the Astros were in town, and I said, "Do you see you doing that at age 70?" He goes, "With that kind of lineup, I'd do
it." That's a great line. Hey, off the field here for a couple questions. We've had a lot of people who knew you were coming on who have just asked us, about Wander Franco and the Rays. Is the Rays organization just pretending as if he's played his last game? Is his name even come up in spring training?
I'm not really, to be honest. I mean, I think it's one of those situations where you got to worry about who you have on the team right now, and that's who they have. Right. I think they've had to make plans for that. There's no real comment coming from the organization now, nor should there be, because you have to let the law enforcement and the courts do their things in the Dominican. So really, it's a sort of, he's kind of persona non grata right now, only in that he's not here, so we really can't think about him.
And the other one is people asking, they're still waiting for that, the shovels to go on the ground. Is there any nervousness, or is it just it's delayed? It's politicians. This will get done.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's delayed so much. I just think that process has to play out. This has been something that's been going on for a long. I can tell you, in 2005 when I got here, there was talk of can there be a new stadium at some point. So here we are in 2024, and I think people are hopefully optimistic that whenever this plays out, that it's going to be a good thing, because it's going to be not only great for the area. I mean, what it's going to do for the whole downtown area of St. Pete and all of Tampa Bay. But I think for the team and the franchise as well, it'll allow them to, quote unquote, keep up with the Joneses a little bit better within the toughest division of baseball in the American League East. So I think people are quietly optimistic, but we'll just have to let that play out.
Well, right now at the beginning of the season, when you look at the division and you look at the Rays, all right, where do you see them today? We know a lot changes over 6 months, but today, where do you see them?
To me, I look at them, and I'm being as honest as I can. I look at them as 85, 86 win team, but could definitely swing in either direction depending upon how some of those young players and new players perform. In other words, I think 85 could turn into 95 if things go the way we want them to go, if they stay healthy enough, if pitchers like Zach Littell can pitch the way he did last year, if Savali can pitch like he did towards the middle of the season with Cleveland before the Rays traded for him, if Eflin does what he did last year and the Rays won 23-8 when he pitched last year, I think this team could suddenly go from an 85 to a 95. If things don't go well, if things get hurt, then I think it could skew in the other direction. But right now, I think the Rays are definitely a competitive team. But honestly, I think the Orioles are the team to beat. You come off 101 wins, and you have the farm system they have. And they had a bit of a horseshoe going last year. They had a lot of things from a luck standpoint that went their way also. I'm not saying that's why they won 101, but I'm saying they had a lot of good fortune last year as well with injuries and health outside of their closer Batista, who got hurt late. But I think it's the Orioles' division to win. I think the Rays are right there if things go in the direction we want them to go with many of these new players.
Andy, first off, thanks for how generous you've been to us over the years, and congratulations. This is your 20th opening day. Savor it, and all the best, and we hope to talk to you down the road.
All right, David Mark, thank you so much. Always enjoy speaking with you.
Andy Freed, 20th season, radio play-by-play of the Tampa Bay Rays.
All right, rapid fire, AL East, 2 wins. I say Toronto.
It's funny. I think the Jays manager gets fired before the All-Star break. I think Don Mattingly's managing the Jays.
AL East, 2 wins. The rapid fire thing was that's how I started.
I'm sorry. Orioles, you're right. My bad.
AL Central.
Minnesota.
Wins. The West, Texas.
No, Houston.
Okay. NL East. Braves.
Oh, yeah.
Central.
Oh, boy.
I'm taking the Reds.
I'm going Brewers.
And then I'm taking the Dodgers.
Yeah.
I'm going out on a limb with that
Hot
one.
take.
I'm going out on a limb with that one.
Braves win the World Series. They're the best team in baseball until proven otherwise, which the Phillies have done the last 2 years in October. But I'm just saying, put it this way. You could have the field. I'll take the Braves.
Ooh.
Seriously. I mean, that's how high I am on the Braves.
Done.
Now it's baseball. The odds are I'm going to lose that bet. But because you think about it, they won the World Series with the worst team they've had in the last 4 years. I mean, that's baseball. Like Andy pointed out about the Rays. The Rays either go to the World Series or they get knocked out in the first round. What a show we had. Verne Lundquist, Kyle Sielaff, Andy Freed. Diamond District bonus hours next.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When choosing something of high value and personal significance, such as a diamond, you want to shop with the best. And the mall is not the place to be. Here are my friends, Jason and Todd with the Diamond District. Take a stroll in the mall, pop into a few Joy stores, and you'll soon discover you're in the wrong place. Rings begin to look all alike. You're not finding GIA certified diamonds. You quickly realize you know more than a salesperson helping you, and all the same financing gets pushed on you.
Visit Jason and me, and you'll find America's top bridal designers dealing exclusively with the Diamond District. You'll find the largest selection of GIA certified diamonds, all priced 8 to 10% over cost. You'll find educated sales consultants who have many years' experience and are not paid commissions.
And you'll find Todd and me in the store nearly every day, wanting to shake your hand and welcome you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail
The
East.
law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Worth.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
All right. I need Realtor Clark to tell us why you only tune in for the 9 o'clock hour. Just curious about that. Is that just the hour that works out for you, or you just don't like 6 to 9? Now you've got me intrigued.
You care if I get on the stream for the bonus hour?
No, go right ahead.
Okay, because I like being able to see David, so I don't cut him off or interject at the wrong time.
No, the only is sometimes the internet in that studio is not good enough to, like, every now and then you guys become a little glitchy, I think, because of the internet in the studio. That would be the only thing to be careful of. If that starts to get in the way, you got to drop off.
Well, yeah, just let me know if it's
be.
If it's not good. So of those two guys we just talked to, which ones have you had on the show more over the years?
Probably Kyle's been on more.
We went a long time without being able to, and it wasn't Andy's doing. It was the whole Rays Radio Network, and we were an affiliate, and then we weren't. And also, for whatever reason, it works for Kyle in the morning. He's, but most baseball people want nothing to do with a morning interview.
Yeah, they have the hours you used to keep. They stay up late and sleep all day. I'd have been great if I'd have been a play-by-play guy. Yeah, sure. I'd be oh yeah, let's half the interview would be sound asleep.
Here we go.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the Diamond District bonus hour on this tremendous sports day. Opening day in Major League Baseball. The Sweet 16 and the madness resumes. And it's 2 weeks today, the Masters. If you missed it, by the way, virtually our entire 7 o'clock hour was a conversation that we recorded after our show yesterday with Verne Lundquist. Go download it. That whole millerandmoulton.com thing. It's a thing. It works. Download it. Every now and then it's worth it.
Uninterrupted too. I mean, it's just a nice the whole
right
conversation as we heard it yesterday.
So there you go. And then we just talked with Kyle Sielaff and Andy Freed, the radio voices of the Marlins and Rays, respectively. Opening day, baby, in 7 hours. You ever go to opening day?
I don't think I have ever been to an opening day, David. In fact, I know I haven't.
Yeah, I don't think I have either, come to think of it. I will say I've played hooky from work, though. Oh, no doubt about it. Oh, madness, opening day, absolutely. I've taken paid days off from work. Mm-hmm.
I'm just hoping MLB TV has a free week preview because I don't know if I'm ready to jump in yet.
Really? I thought you bought the package.
I hadn't bought it yet. It's coming.
So you're all talk is what you're saying?
You got a little cold feet? What? You're just not.
I was persuaded by a few people in our Twitch chat room saying, wait a week, they'll lower the price. And I'm cheap.
Ah, got it.
With certain things. Certain things, I'll just spend it as fast as I have it.
Right.
I mean, like the bets I've already made on tonight's NCAA games. I mean,
sure.
that's
done.
fine. Let's go.
Right. Iowa State, Illinois, just there's no limit. But, the MLB package, I'm going to wait a week.
By the way, this is the dichotomy of Miller and Moulton because Mark is waiting them out for the cheap, and David is paying for Peacock, and he doesn't even use it because he doesn't know how to get on.
Exactly. I've got Apple TV, Peacock. I got 3 things I'm paying for that I've never used. Right. Exactly. Please, they're installing this new wireless internet, whatever, in the condo building. And they're like, you could go to this. It'd be a lot cheaper. I go, I have no doubt it'd be a lot cheaper. But, I need to know what I'm getting, when I'm getting it, and I'll pay $8,000 more a month for it. Okay. That's it. Well, no, you could save. I know I could save. I'm not arguing with you. I'm just not buying your product.
David, I play golf with a lot of older guys because that's who plays golf. And you would fit in so well with them because yesterday we were having a conversation about cutting the cord. And one of the guys actually has cut the cord. And the other 2 guys were looking at us as if we had 3 heads. What cut? What are you talking?
Why?
YouTube TV, what are you talking about?
Right. Why? That's my argument. It's why. I know where everything is. Okay? Everything works. Fine, I'm paying a ton of money for it. I'm getting what I paid for. It works. What?
You can record things. You can go to the DVR. I mean, for certain people, it's a lot more. That just makes more sense. My dad's one of those people.
This would be like if you're selling food. I'd be that customer in which the blind taste test, okay? And they'd have what I like, and then they'd have their version of it. And their version of it, I would actually, in the blind taste test, eat it and think it's better. I'd go, I like this one. And they go, well, that's ours. You've been settling for over here. And then look at the price. Ours is $4 less. Okay. And I'd go, that's great. Good luck. Congratulations. And they go, well, you're going to switch obviously to us. No, I'm sticking with that one right over there. Oh, why would I switch to you? Well, we're better and we're cheaper. So you say.
Not used to you. I'm not used to you, therefore I'm not crossing over.
I can pay my bills. If I get to the point where I'm selling plasma, I'll make the switch. Okay, but until then, I'm gonna stick with it.
You leaving the house for opening day today?
Oh yes. Oh yes. Mm-hmm.
How bummed are you that your game?
Oh my goodness!
How? Because it happened. Yesterday they announced it, right?
Yes, yesterday afternoon they announced the Mets and the Phillies home openers already postponed because of the weather. It just made me angrier because of what we talked about 24 hours ago. I mean, how moronic do you have to be if you're the Major League Baseball offices? It's like getting a hamburger for half price. It's better than the one that you have and continuing to eat the one that you normally eat. I digress. I mean, how do you not schedule the Mets and Brewers in Milwaukee? They've got a roof. It's March 28th. Phillies Braves. Oh, I don't know. One city's 1,000 miles south of the other. Where would you schedule the game? Let's schedule it in Philly. Morons. Come on. What are you doing? Not only that, think about it, Mark. There's like 2 big days in baseball before the playoffs. Opening day and the All-Star game. So you got to get the opening day right.
Well, they quit getting opening day right a long time ago. And I know we tried to get Kyle Sielaff to agree with us on opening day being pushed back. And he's like, no. And I get it. He's a baseball guy. More baseball, earlier baseball. But for the rest of us,
I mean, I'm not.
The Tuesday, to me, it should be the Tuesday after the National Championship Day. If they want to do it Monday, National Championship Monday, that's fine too.
So you're saying like mid-April almost.
Well, first off, Trent, Jackie Robinson's Major League debut, which was opening day of the 47 baseball season, was April 15th. And so, just slowly it's been moved up. But yeah, up until, what was it, a half dozen years ago? I mean, it's almost a this decade thing. I mean, the season never started. Every now and then, the Sunday night baseball game, that was ESPN did that for 10 years. Sunday night baseball was the first game of the year, and a couple of them were on March 31st. But usually it was the first Monday of April. That's when the Major League Baseball season opened. Whenever that was. It could be the first, it could be all the way to the 7th. That's when the season opened.
What you guys are saying does make way more sense. Like, why? And I think the reason they do it, correct me if I'm wrong, is it because they don't want the season going too late? They don't want World Series games in November?
Well, and also they don't do doubleheaders anymore. And in negotiations with the union over the years, the players have tried to say, can we get a few more days off?
And they are. They're getting,
right.
There's a raised schedule right in front of me. The number of Mondays that they don't play is a lot more than I think you would expect. The number of Thursdays that they have off is a lot more than you would expect.
And so that's why they have to continue, because once again, we're still at 162. We haven't gotten to the expanded playoffs, which Miller and Moulton believe will happen once they expand and go to 32 teams. We think then Major League Baseball is going to look like hockey in the NBA. We think we're going to end up with 16 playoff teams, 8 in each league. And we're just going to have 3 playoff series before the World Series. Best of 5, best of 5, best of 7. Let's go. And at that point, they may have to shorten the season by 4 to 8 games. May. They won't want to, but they may have to. But I'll be honest with you, my earliest opening day memory, as a fan, it was Seaver for the Mets in like 74 or 75. I was 8 or 9 years old. But I remember opening day in Little League. I don't know about you guys, but we marched in a parade. And there was one game. I was in the Fords Little League, which was a neighboring town to where I grew up in Edison. And I don't know why I was in the Fords Little League, but I was. And we had a parade. And we would march, and it's not a short parade either. And we marched through town, and people lined up on both sides. All right. And then we marched to the main fields. And then one 9 and 10-year-old team or game, one 11 and 12, and one 13 and 14. They had 3 fields, and there was one game of each. And one year, Mark, we got selected, my team, which was never a good team. We got selected to play in the game. It was a BFD.
That's really cool. I'd love to mock you right now for this, but everything that you said sounds
very neat. And
yes,
and
it sounds really neat. And
great experience for the kids too.
Trust me, I can tell you, I never participated in an opening day parade. They never had any of those. And the little town I was a couple communities over from Saginaw where I grew up, they didn't have that. I don't know if the Saginaw Little League had it or the Township Little League. We sure as hell didn't have it.
And we all had to get dressed up in our uniforms. So we're all marching in uniform.
In fact, David, I think the first 2 baseball teams I played on in Little League, we just got shirts. It wasn't even the full uni.
Oh,
you were still wearing
stirrups.
You were still wearing your jeans.
Oh, you didn't have the stirrups?
No.
Oh, come on.
7 and 8 baseball. I played for Bailey's Construction. And that was the coach, of course, who sponsored the team.
Sure.
And I can see the picture. I can see the team photo, and we were wearing, our jeans. And then it wasn't until I made it to the 9-11 or 10-11-12 league or whatever it was, the next league, that was a big deal because then we got the unis when I was playing for Don Bailey Drugs.
Gotcha.
The team names just
oh yeah.
I love it.
Which sponsor spent more money? Which sponsor was the better sponsor?
Oh, the drugstore. Well, we had the full-on unis for the drugstore. We looked good.
So you were upper market team. You were like the Braves, the Phillies playing for them. You were Rays, Marlins.
Oakland A's colors, green and gold, green and yellow. They looked sharp. They were sharp unis.
We were the Indians. I played on the Indians all through, Babe Ruth, Little League, whatever it was, 5-6 years. Yeah.
Were you a catcher?
You're damn right. I was a fat kid. Okay, they put you behind the plate. Absolutely. Right. It was a non-athletic position. Right. It's such back, thinking. I mean, we did it in hockey. Put the fat kid in goal. It takes up more space. Maybe the puck will hit him. No, you actually need somebody who's athletic who can move. Nah, just cover up space.
Honest to God, the reason I asked is because the way your brain works, David. You're so I just think you'd be a great catcher. You call a great game.
I loved it. Nobody wanted to catch, and I loved it.
It's and I played catcher for a few years. It's how I got in practice. I would catch, and the catcher hated catching in practice because he had to. So I started catching in practice and morphed into the position because I ended up being okay at it. But I'm with you. Loved it.
As you could imagine, with my personality, I was very much like Costner in Bull Durham. Okay, pitchers and you throw what I put down. That's my buddy. He can't hit a curveball. I know your curveball sucks, but it's better than his swing. Throw the curve. Yeah, I was a charmer even then.
Miller and Moulton, Little League stories. Oh boy, on opening day. Thanks for listening.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Hi, I'm Jason. And I'm Todd with the Diamond District. I believe in complete transparency. If you're shopping for diamonds in Naples, you're paying too much. If you're shopping in the Cape or Fort Myers, you also won't see the selection you deserve to have. If you're online, there's no human connection, and you won't know if your diamond is beautiful or not until it shows up in the mail.
Just because it's GIA certified doesn't mean it's brilliant. There's so much more to a diamond than its cut, color, and clarity that makes it beautiful. Visit us at the Diamond District for a non-commission and educational presentation and quit paying more in Naples or buying blind from the internet. The Diamond District has the rarest diamonds from half carat to 10 carats. You won't find a bigger selection or better value.
And you won't find a better buying experience. Jason and I are in the store nearly every day, and we look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
So I never played baseball far into my childhood at all. But both my brothers played travel ball, and we were all so close in age that I got to travel around and go to their tournaments and stuff and watch them. I'm telling you, those weekends were so much fun. Just those tournaments where they're playing 3 games a day. Begging my mom for money to go to the concession stand.
Oh, totally. Was pricing a little different, the money you had to beg for versus the money we had to beg for. We could go to the concession stand with $3 and get like a hot dog, fries, and a drink.
Yeah, now a water is $4.
So on a group text I'm on yesterday, someone's really challenging Caleb Williams to the Bears because of the pink phone case and all this stuff.
That was big yesterday. On
right.
The internet.
So,
yeah.
He says, this guy's going to have a difficult time in Chicago. My other buddy responds, this is a classic. I don't know. He's a college kid with a penthouse at USC. He's literally swimming in white chicks and cocaine. Can't be many more distractions than that in Chicago. I think he'll be okay. I replied, with swimming in white chicks and cocaine sound like Kid Rock's next album.
That's pretty good.
I was going to say, that sounds like a reality show on WeTV. White Chicks and Cocaine, Thursdays at 10.
On True TV.
True TV.
Maybe Nance can do that.
Tradition unlike any other. Golly.
That's the only reason I'm getting the baseball package, is that I'll be able to watch the Rays. I mean, I like watching the Marlins. I like the Rays television broadcast better.
Yes. I think BA is good.
I agree.
Not a huge stats guy.
I like their
fine. But their chemistry is great.
Their chemistry is terrific, and that's the broadcast, isn't it? I mean, at the end of the day,
the Marlins had the best broadcast, and Jeter got rid of them. First big mistake he made.
Jeter with the Marlins, A-Rod with the Timberwolves.
Well, A-Rod's not in control yet.
Right. When is that supposed to be finalized?
Actually, it was yesterday. He had to get the money in by yesterday.
As far as I know, Sonny.
Oh, man, I'd race home from school on opening day because I'd miss the first few innings because we're in school. Had the transistor radio with me in class, get yelled at, didn't care. I was like, please send me to the principal's office. I can listen to the damn game. In fact, there's a good chance he's got it on the TV.
I had a buddy who always went to Tigers opening day, and he missed school for it and didn't even lie about it or anything. He was just like, I'm going to the Tigers game. See ya.
Totally. I remember going to we were always big on going to the state basketball tournament because basketball was in. I remember leaving for a semifinal game and literally walking out of class at 10:30, and one of the teachers going, "Where are you going?" Going to see BV play. He's like, "Oh man, I hate you. I'm so jealous." Like, didn't turn me in. Didn't say. I mean, I'm walking out of school, go to the game, and he's just laughing, going, "God, I wish I could go with you."
He gets it.
I just
remember that day in 50 minutes. There's a 3-way convoy doing about 110 to that game.
Flooring it. Okay, here we go.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Opening day in Major League Baseball. Sweet 16 tonight. Women's tourney back tomorrow. Miller and Moulton. MillerandMoulton.com. Miller_Moulton on X. Our poll question involves the star of the women's tournament, Caitlin Clark. The biggest star in basketball right now. At least college hoop. Right? I mean, there's nobody playing
Absolutely.
in the tournament's a bigger deal than Caitlin Clark, right?
No, it's one of those years where there's no Zion, there's no Wemby.
So, who's it? Ice Cube?
Yes.
He's co-owner of the Big Three League?
Yes.
And $5 million they've offered Caitlin Clark to play in their league. $5 million. They play what, 10 games?
10 games.
All on Saturdays, I think?
Yep.
And it would conflict a little bit with the WNBA season, but it's $5 million. Her salary for the Indiana Fever, $76,535 this year when she gets picked by them number one. Fortunately, she gets raises. By year 4, she'll be making $97,582. Not bad for a summer gig, I got to be honest, but still not $5 million.
No, it's not. And the endorsements will come to her either way.
Mm-hmm. So if you're Caitlin, though, our poll question, do you take the money? Yeah, it's $5 million. Or no, this could go badly.
3 of 4, you say take the money.
I will say, I think this would be wildly entertaining as a sports fan, because I'm going through these teams, by the way. Do you know some of the coaches in the Big Three? Charles Oakley, George Gervin, Gilbert Arenas, Gary Payton. These are the guys who are the coaches of these teams.
They're ceremonial coaches.
Oh, I know, but what I'm saying is I would love to see these coaches interact with Caitlin Clark and just kind of be like...
Here, Trent, let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Because I know the answer for David, and I know the answer for me. So you're the only one left that I have to ask this question to. Have you ever watched a Big Three basketball game?
I have.
I have.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, I stumbled upon it a year or so ago.
Stumbled upon it and stayed? Did you give it as much time as you give the UFL?
Oh, wow, that's a good one. Believe it or not, if my memory serves me correctly, I think I stayed with it longer than I normally stay with spring football.
Okay, I've not watched a second of Big Three basketball. And I love Ice Cube, for the record.
I haven't in years, but 2017 was when it started. And I think when it started, I watched a good amount of games because they were trying to get it. I think Allen Iverson was in the league they were trying to get stars and names and people to watch. And I'm being dead serious about this. The 3-on-3 game is interesting, at least for me. I'm a basketball fan, so I'm intrigued by the 3-on-3 half court.
I loved it used to be called the Gus Macker a generation ago. It was a 3-on-3 national tournament, and you played for money. Okay. I loved it. Loved watching it.
They still have the Gus Macker.
Thought it was funny, or it's fun, I should say. So, but this can go badly. I mean, she's playing against men.
Yes.
And she has to play with the guy's ball. It's bigger. So in theory,
they're bigger.
And in theory, she's not going to shoot it as well as she normally does. Well, what's one of the most appealing, if not the most appealing part of her game? Her shooting. So this could go badly.
She's the female Steph Curry. She is.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if she goes out and can't shoot, what happens to her endorsements? She goes out and they're blocking her shots. What happens? She gets the $5 million. And she can always go to the WNBA after.
So could you argue almost that it could mess up her shot with the men's ball?
No, I think
I don't think so. Your form is your form.
Okay. I'm just saying like that.
No.
That's another reason that she might not want to do.
I don't think so. But this may surprise you. If I was her, I wouldn't do it.
I wouldn't either.
Especially after I heard the WNBA commissioner say that we've got a revenue sharing system worked out where she's going to make $3 million this year. Oh, okay.
But you have to admit, this isn't Ohtani settling for $65 million instead of $70 when it's $3. I mean, $2 million when it's $3 to $5 million, significant.
Yeah, I mean, it is a couple million difference. And in theory, she could do both. That's the other thing. One does not, according, even the WNBA did not come out yesterday and say she can't do it. Contractually, she can't do it. They know this is a gray area. Because let's be honest, did they ever think one of their players? Okay, it's one thing about them going overseas and playing. It's another thing about them playing in a men's league of some kind. I don't think they ever envisioned it. Especially since the WNBA has been around a quarter century and this league's been around less than 10 years.
I'll tell you what, I'm dreaming here a little bit, but if the slim chance that she, A, accepts the offer, and B, is great, oh, how awesome would that be for women's basketball, women's sports, all of, like, if she played in the Big Three, even for just a season, and was awesome.
I'll be honest with you. If she played in the Big Three and she was decent, I think it would be tremendous.
Yeah, I would. I do too.
Like, it's men. Trent, these are men.
Oh, I know.
Okay, and the other thing is that they're going to go, oh, great, we got to play against whatever the team is, and Caitlin Clark. You don't think they're going to want to crush her? You really think they want her sticking threes in their face? You really think they want her driving by with that little scoop shot that she does on the drive? Really? These are proud professional athletes.
Yes, and just to double down on it, I mean, I've got the rosters up in front of me. I just like looking at this kind of stuff because I'm intrigued of the hypothetical of Caitlin Clark going against Tony Allen, who I think won a Defensive Player of the Year award, right? And he's got his number retired in Memphis. Like that's Tony Allen.
And I understand she's 22 and they're 37. I get it, but I mean, is she really going to be able to put it on the floor and drive by them? Now, some guys are clearly fat and out of shape, and they're just out there chucking. But I'm guessing one of the three guys is like, yeah, I got her. Yeah, I got her.
Absolutely.
And I think we all agree that's probably how it would go. I don't think she would be very good. But it's the high risk, high reward. I mean, it would be amazing, and it would do wonders for the sport if she takes it. I don't think she does, by the way. Don't think she does. I'm with you guys.
Does either. But I would, if I was advising her, I would say, yeah, don't do it. Don't do it. You're going to be the number one pick in the draft. Celebrate it. Just have all your momentum go into the WNBA. Let's you have a chance to change that league, make that league mainstream, and not just a niche thing. Let's concentrate on that.
But it's a fascinating story. It's $5 million.
Right.
Versus what did she make year one? 76 and change?
Well, yeah, when she signs with the Indiana Fever, 76,535. Hey, by year 4, she's up to 97,582. As opposed to $500,000 a game in the
right
league. Right. She'll make more in one game than she'll in the WNBA. By a lot, by the way.
I don't know if that says more about the WNBA or Ice Cube.
This is more about Cube. And now I'm fired up because I've got my Cube playlist in front of me. I'm going right to the car after the show, and I'm going to be listening to some Ice Cube. Probably will start out with No Vaseline.
No, David, that's his best song.
In case you were wondering. It
that
really
is awesome.
It really is.
All the context behind it, too. I mean, just after leaving the group. Oh.
Don't you think, David? Probably his best song?
Probably.
The Diamond District Bonus Hour, Miller and Moulton. If you missed any of the show, download it. We had Verne Lundquist on today. It was pretty good.
For an hour.
Right.
7 o'clock hour. Just download the whole thing. And then if you're excited about opening day of baseball, Kyle Sielaff and Andy Freed, play-by-play voices of the Marlins and Rays, respectively. We had them on as well. Sweet 16 tonight. This is awesome. Who needs football? Well, okay. Maybe soon.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6, and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
The waterways of Naples are a beauty to behold, and the Bayfront Inn has multiple ways for guests to enjoy the water and have some fun. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn. Something for everyone. On 5th Avenue in Naples.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
I don't know that one as well. I know of it, but
Oh, we've derailed Mark here with Ice Cube.
Hey, when I'll put my Apple songs on and just put them on random, and if that comes on, it just floors me.
it is good. Did you see the movie?
Oh yeah,
10 years ago or so?
Yeah.
Great movie.
It's another most band documentaries or whatever. Any of those, like the Ray Charles. If they come on, I stop what I'm doing. I've watched them all 100 times. Love them.
You seen The Dirt?
Oh, absolutely.
I love The Dirt.
It's fantastic.
I mean, it's so bad that it's entertaining as hell.
It's off the book, so it's fairly
right. Yeah.
Factual.
Right. David, as an outsider, what is your honest opinion on our Tigers? How do you think they're going to do?
Finish second.
Okay, so you like the Twins to win the division.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think they'll get a wild card?
No.
If they finish over 500, it will be a good year.
Right.
I do that.
I actually think I see the standings a lot like last year. I don't know if the Royals and White Sox are quite as bad, but I don't know if the second place team in the Central finishes above 500.
Right.
I really don't. I could see it being an 85 win Twins team and a 79 win Tigers team.
The Dodgers do not come to the Trop.
Okay.
Just for what it's worth. I don't know if they come and play the Marlins.
I saw on spring break, probably 6 years ago, my family went to Tampa. So we went and saw a Rays game at the Trop. I was just like, it was an out-of-body experience. It was so weird watching baseball indoors.
You had never seen a game indoors before?
No. And I'm just like the sounds, everything was so different. And it was so weird.
It's great when a ball hits the catwalk.
Yeah.
It does. Roots, the steel's in play.
They played the Blue Jays. Marcus Stroman was pitching.
That'll be interesting. Stroman in the Bronx.
Yeah.
Because he handles negative feedback really well. So, I don't know. Might not be the best fit.
Thursday, September 19th, 4:40 p.m., Marlins hosting the Dodgers.
September?
Yeah.
Oh, that's long.
Well, it's when they're in town.
So Thursday.
Here we go.
Thursday.
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour, 16 until we're out of here. The Diamond District bonus hour on Miller and Moulton. Thanks so much for being with us. MillerandMoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Missed any part of today's show? Verne Lundquist, an interview, a lengthy one. We broke it up and played it throughout the entire 7 o'clock hour. Kyle Sielaff and Andy Freed, the play-by-play voices of the Marlins and the Rays. So got a lot going on. Previewed the Sweet 16, had some fun. I don't know. Scale of 1 to 10. They do that Family Feud. You ever watch Family Feud? They wear all these questions. Okay. One of the questions yesterday, Mark, was you're a woman. Okay. And on a scale of 1 to 10, what kind of a catch are you?
Wow.
Number one answer was 8.
That's what I'd have gone with.
So they they don't even think of themselves as a 10.
They did that with men. Men would say they were a 9.
We surveyed 100 men. Top 5 answers on the board.
I love the feud.
I do too.
Love the feud.
I do too. I love the whole fake, they coach them up,
Good answer.
Yeah. And then, try to steal, and they're all say X's on the other side. Come on.
My cousins were on that show, so they
really?
They were on that show in 2017. So they came back and told us all the ins and
I
outs.
would love next time we get Joe Buck on. Okay, did you see when Buck was on the feud?
He did the celebrity thing, right?
Did the celebrity feud. It's him, his wife, his 2 daughters, and I think his sister. So it's Joe and the 4 women of his family. And it comes down to final answer. And if they get it, they win. And if they don't get it, they're going to lose. And the women all come up with the answer. And they all say the same thing. Well, yes, And he goes, okay, got it. And he blurts out his own answer. And he was wrong. And the answer was what the women wanted.
What an idiot.
Yes.
On so many different fronts.
On the feud. Right.
So then he didn't even get to play fast money.
Well, then he gets the abuse for the rest of his life. If you go with their answer and it's wrong, you can abuse them forever.
Exactly.
That is a miscalculation by someone who's made very wise calculations throughout the majority of his life.
Right.
That's a mistake.
Married well and the whole deal. And right. Yeah. Idiot. Moron. I mean, trust me, it's come up in the booth. Okay. We'll be debating something and I'll just say, come up with your own answer. And he just kind of glares at me. I go, done it before.
It's time for someone to take back this segment, if for no other reason than to stop David from talking about Meghan and Harry. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
Salvation Army was officially formed today in 1885.
That's a good thing.
WGN begins radio transmissions today in 1924. Today in 1963, the AFL's New York Titans become the New York Jets. The last original Ed Sullivan Show aired on CBS today in 1971. Two things happened in 72. Elvis records Burning Love. It's his last top 10 hit. And Wilt, 72.
Okay.
And Wilt plays his last pro game today in 72. And in 79, we had a meltdown at 3 Mile Island.
Oh, by the way.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Ken Howard would have celebrated his 80th birthday today. That's the coach from the White Shadow.
Oh, great show. What a cult following. I think it was only on like 3 years.
Yeah.
It's tremendous.
Rick Barry is 80. Reba McEntire, 69.
Her face, by the way, is like 7. And I love Reba, too. I've paid to see Reba, but she's had a little work done recently. Just saying.
Gymnast Bart Connor is 66. Actor Vince Vaughn, 54. Keith Tuchuk is 52. Luke Walton, 44. And Lady Gaga's 38. What did I miss, David?
A few things today, actually. So, first off, in 84, it was 40 years ago today, the Mayflower vans.
Oh, okay.
Colts moved from Baltimore to Indianapolis. Today in 84. Today in 92, Duke, Kentucky. Leitner hit the shot. 104-103 in overtime.
Verne Lundquist on the call.
Yeah, with Len Elmore. To me, that's the best college basketball game of all time. The people that were in it, what was at stake, Duke, the defending champions, Kentucky rising from the proverbial ashes under Pitino. I mean, just the studs that were in that game. Mashburn for Kentucky, Leitner, Hurley, Grant Hill for Duke, Krzyzewski and Pitino as coaches. All right, I think the losing team shot 59% from the field. It was just such high level. And on a totally different note, can you believe it's been 18 years ago today? And Mark, you and I were working for the local station. The Duke lacrosse team got suspended today. And that whole thing began to play out.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd had the same take now that I did then. I don't know if I'd be as eager to make the same case that I did the way times have changed, because I was convinced that they had done nothing wrong the next day.
And
went on air and said so.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You got it right. Nowadays, you could get it right and still lose your career.
That's what I'm saying.
Trent's laughing. No, Trent, this is your career. Okay, you want to do this for another 40 years. Mark and I we have the finish line drawn, okay, on the blackboard. We know where we're trying to get to. You got 40 more years. Good luck.
There are things that you guys say that I write down, and little tidbits, advice that's going in there for sure.
Good luck. You could be right and still lose your career. Oh yeah.
You've heard folks elsewhere mock Florida is gonna Florida. Well, Mark Miller sees it differently. He calls it the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
We go to Naples for the good, where every year Tom Schoenig celebrates his birthday with a bike ride. He determines how long he rides the bike by how old he is. You know, at 60, he did 60 miles. At 70, he did 70 miles. At 80, he did 80 miles. Leading up to his 90th birthday, he was sick, he said, for about 6 months. He couldn't eat. Then he thought about the bike ride and said, I got a little pep in my step. And he headed out for his birthday tradition and did a 90-mile bike ride on his 90th birthday. Happy birthday, Tom, and congratulations for being a better man than I am. For the bad, we go to Jacksonville, where Matthew Sims said his dog Baby was playing in the yard, doing a little digging. Dug up a bomb, a decade-old military bomb. It was next to his garage. He called the Jacksonville police, and the bomb squad responded to examine the discovery. It was an unexploded piece of military ordnance, but it was likely buried for decades. Fortunately, it didn't blow up. And finally, the ugly. We go to England, where a woman rescued what she believed to be an abandoned baby hedgehog and took it to the local animal hospital, where veterinarians told her she had actually rescued a pom-pom from a beanie hat. You can't make this up.
How can you even mistake those two things?
She thought she had a very small hedgehog. It was a pom-pom.
Wouldn't you be able to pick it up and
and stroke it and pet it?
The weight of it, and it's not warm, like it's not a living thing. How do you even? That's alarming.
That is the good, the bad, and the ugly on today, March the 28th, 2024.
I think there needed to be a drug test involved in that story at some point, don't you?
Absolutely.
What does this look like to you? Looks like a pom-pom. Really? What is it? It's a hedgehog. Drug test her. Just over on the side here. Here's your thing.
Don't let her drive home.
No. 14 games in the NHL tonight. 14. Wow.
Well, there was only 2 last night.
Panthers are home for the Islanders. And the Bruins are not playing tonight. So this is one of the 2 games that the Panthers have in hand on the Bruins, and they're 2 points behind them for first. So Lightning also not playing tonight. So Panthers hosting the Islanders. There's a bunch of key games. Rangers are in Colorado, take on the Avs.
Phillies I wouldn't say a must win, but they've got a really light schedule here coming up. Phillies at Montreal, game they need to win to keep on keeping on in that division, while the Caps are at Toronto.
This looks like it could be a tough spot for your guys. Wings, they're in Carolina to face the Canes. And the Canes are trying to chase down the Rangers, who are 3 points ahead of them. And I believe the Rangers have a game in hand also on the Wings.
Yeah, good
or
luck,
on the
boys.
Canes, excuse me.
Yeah, the Red Wings are in deep trouble.
They're cooked.
A lot of great matchups, though, tonight in the NHL. I mean, Dallas is at Vancouver. They're separated by a point. Kings are in Edmonton. They're separated by 3. Las Vegas is at Winnipeg. That could be a first-round playoff series. I mean, honestly, it's a great
Rangers in Colorado. That's
right.
Stanley Cup preview, possibly. I know you don't think so, but come on. They've got the best damn record in the East right now, and you don't think they can get out of the first round.
No.
With your Rangers right now.
No. Well, I am worried if they get the Lightning. All right. If they finish with the number 1 overall seed, they'll destroy the Flyers or the Caps or the Wings. I got no problem with that. The Canes are a tough matchup for them. Okay. I think the Rangers have a little more scoring than the Canes and better goaltending at the end. But the Canes are always been a tough matchup for them. All right. Both sides are brutal. I think the top end of the East is even tougher than the top end of the West. I could be biased, but I do.
I disagree, but I think we're splitting hairs, David. I really do. I mean, isn't it
like the top 7 teams in the NHL are separated by 3 points?
I believe you're right.
If you take both conferences into account. Top 7 teams separated by 3 points right now with about 10 games left.
Exactly. The Rangers have 100. Carolina has 97, and they're 7th overall. Unbelievable.
NBA, there's only 2 games tonight. Boston's in Atlanta. Remember, they've been there partying since they blew that 30-point lead on Monday. Okay, do you think the Celtics are partied out, or do you think they've sobered up in time for the Hawks game tonight?
What's the line?
Boston by 16.5.
I would take Atlanta to cover.
Milwaukee's in New Orleans. That's the only other game.
Anybody predicting any upsets tonight in the Sweet 16? We've got Connecticut and San Diego State. I like Illinois as a slight dog against Iowa State. That game's the smallest margin, 1.5. North Carolina's a 4.5-point favorite over Alabama. Arizona, 7.5 over Clemson.
If you take out basically the pick 'em between Illinois and Iowa State, I think the best chance is Alabama to beat UNC. But we'll see. I don't think that's going to happen. I just think matchups wise, I mean, Bama's going to run with them. So you never know.
Alabama, North Carolina, an over-under of 173.5 and a point spread of 4.5. If you do the math, Vegas is basically telling you, give or take a half a point, 89-84 Carolina.
Track meet.
That would be fun.
Would be highly entertaining.
That would be worth staying up for. You probably have to stay up till about midnight to see the completion of it.
For sure.
Do we want to take it? Take the over? And just root for chaos from the jump? Get running?
I would lay the points before I would bet the over-under. 173.5 on a college game. Man. Which is just about the nightly Indiana Pacers over-under with the way they've been scoring points this year. But Major League Baseball, we've got, we were supposed to have 15 games. We got 13 because the Brewers, Mets, and Braves and Phillies have been postponed. First game's in Baltimore. Boy, it's been an eventful week in Baltimore, wouldn't you say?
Man, oh, man.
The Bridge, Orioles ownership changed hands yesterday. Opening day today. Angels and Orioles. And then a bunch of 4 o'clock games, including in Miami and St. Pete. Marlins hosting the Pirates, Rays hosting the Jays. Got a lot of Twins fans in Southwest Florida. They're in Kansas City at 4 o'clock. Yankees, Astros at 4 o'clock. Giants, Padres, Cardinals, Dodgers, Nats, Reds. Your guys, Tigers against the White Sox. 4 o'clock, man. It's go time.
Yes, it is. Opening day of baseball is here. The Sweet 16 tonight. A tremendous sports day and sports weekend ahead.
Pat Kerwin and Bob Harrig. He's written a book about Tiger. They're both going to join us tomorrow. Have a great Thursday. Miller and Moulton.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market?